go. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to my channel, The Underrated Darkness. Yours truly, the #1 grinder. One of the best kept secrets on social media, the best of the business. We got another chopper with the one and only WIL. Sorry I cut you off and everything. I did not mean that when I played the intro, you got cut off. Please come back. Please come back. Please come back. All right, and I'm gonna ask him some questions talking about it, and he gonna ask me some questions. That's how it go. So we got brother Laurie 66 in the house. What's going on, fam? Haven't seen you in a while. Well, welcome. Thank you for the support. And we just waiting for WIL to come back. So yeah, I guess he thought I was supposed to start like 10 o'clock, but it was 10:05. But sorry for the mishaps and everything. So we waiting for WIL to come back in his piece, so we can get this chop up going. And so WIL, so we here. Please come back. Please come back. Um, so yeah. Well, I'm here right now. In the back. Oh, let's see. See. I don't see him. Let's see. Let me see something. Let me see. I don't see him. I don't see him. Hold on, fam. I don't even see him in the backstage. Let me see. Hold on. I don't see. Hold on. Let me do something. Let me do something. Hold on. Hold on. We gotta get this thing on. Gotta get this thing straightened out. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Copy. WIL, Watch out for your email. See the stream. I'm back. Check your email, my brother. Check your email, brother Dollar. Well, check your email. I just sent you the link again. So just send you the link. Just send the link. So check your email. Again, welcome to my channel, The Underrated Darkness, yours truly, the number one grinder, one of the best kept secrets one of the best kept secrets on social media, the best of the business. We putting it down for a long time, and we're gonna get this chop up going with the one and only brother Dollar Will. So Dollar Will, if you hear me, I'm check your email right now. I already seen the link to come on the panel. All right, so. So check the link. I'm looking for the bag, but I don't see him. Trust me, I send the link to his email. Okay, there you go. All right.
I did this before. Let me make it was muted. Nope, it is muted.
Here you go. I'm here.
Now I'm getting double audio. My YouTube is muted. I'm hearing myself.
Okay.
So you got a speaker on or something? I have headphones on too. So I don't know why I'm hearing myself twice.
So let me mute myself and then.
Now I don't hear you at all. Let's see. Do you have some headphones?
No.
Okay. You got a speaker. You got a speaker real close to your computer or something.
No, I got no speaker. No. Hold on 1 second, please. I might have to turn the volume down. Let's see. How about now?
Okay, let me talk. I'm still hearing myself come back. Still hearing. Yeah, it's like my own voice coming back. And my YouTube is muted.
But I turned my volume down, so.
It's my voice is coming back from you. Some reason it's coming back. Let me think. Let me see. Let's see. me think of another way. See if I have to do this. I got no ideas about this.
Hold on, let me see something.
Now I can try to exit and come back in.
Yeah, do that.
All right.
We working, yo. We working. We gonna get it done. We gonna get it done. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes it happens. But on my end, I'm gonna keep on checking. See how they go. No, that's not. That's not what I'm talking about. Hello, hello, hello. Go.
Now I'm still hearing my voice come back,
Hmm.
and my YouTube is muted. So it's no. I'm not. I'm not doing anything. It's quite annoying.
Hold on. Let me mute myself and just say something. All right. Mute
Okay.
myself.
Okay. I'm talking. I don't hear. Now I don't even hear myself coming back. So it's somehow the audio is. I don't need to hear myself coming back, so that's fine. But so if you mute it, it should be fine. If you mute it when I'm talking, that should be fine. There you go. So I'll just wait for you to mute. Say when you mute it, can you hear me? Mute your mic for a second. I'm counting to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Everything sounds fine. So that's how we can do it. So when I'm talking, you just mute and then I'll pause and we'll it's probably like I think it's a software bug with this company. So that's how we'll do it.
Okay, yeah, we do it like that. No problem. I'll work with you. So anyway, welcome to my channel, Underrated Doctors. Yours truly, the number one grind, one of the best case secrets on social media. We got the one and only brother Dollar Will. I know of him for a minute, and then he been talk about stocks and bonds and stuff like that. And we are going. I heard your video. We are going to talk about it because I think this is very very well needed to be talking about it. How we educate and help us educate. But other than that, welcome my brother, and thanks for coming. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. Honored to be here. Especially with a brother like you that's been around these Black Manosphere streets for a long time. We've seen a lot of growth in the space, in numbers in one sense, and some people have matured because we've all gotten older. We've experienced people dying, and man, we've run the gamut.
And let me say this: this is a chopper, so Dollar Will is going to ask questions about me. This is a chop up. So whatever question you want to ask me. This is a chop up. It ain't all about. It's about you. Well, I want you to ask questions about me too. So let's get this going. Again, welcome and thank you for foremost. Thank you so much to bring credibility to the space.
Thank,
Always involved with money and stocks to build families together because I want people to understand what I'm saying. I've been hearing this brother for a long time. And me and the brother, we always cross roads, but we always get along and stuff. And he always talk about generation wealth of our people. And I want people to understand that he been at this for a long time. And I'm just letting you know it's an honor for me to have you on here. And I want people to know what I know, see what I see. And I just want to let you know I appreciate that. I wish a lot more brothers would talk more about that, of the generation wealth of our people. We talk about stocks and bonds. But anyway, welcome. Let's get this going and everything. Do you have any parents living, siblings, on it?
I have a father, and my father is he's up in age. He's in the fourth quarter. He's
Got you.
he's he's like 85, and the memory's starting to go, and but he's still my king. You know, I learn more from him and respect him more as I get older. Because when you're young, you we can be like super critical of our parents, and
Yeah.
then we get older, we start making mistakes, and we respect them more for how they handle their dilemmas than how we handle ours.
Right. Yeah.
So and then maybe that's like selfishness, because like, okay, if I want some understanding about my shortcomings, I'm gonna have to have some understanding about his. So even if it's selfishly driven, you reach that level of maturity where you can respect your parents more when you realize that they are just regular people that rise to the challenge. That they get up when they fall down, and they just keep going.
That's all right. So let
And,
me ask you.
and I have siblings. I have siblings.
Oh, okay.
My
I'm sorry.
a lot of the isms that we talk about in the manosphere about the black family. I got, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Mama wasn't too much. My mama wasn't too different. So I got siblings in New York, North Carolina, Los Angeles. So that's like very vastly different areas of the country. So a lot of these cultural differences that we argue about in the manosphere, I experienced that in my family. So that's what I try to tell people in the manosphere. There's more than one black experience in America. America is a huge country, and all of these regions have different cultures. But when we talk about what's real and who's authentic, we always kind of look at it from our point of view, and put another experience down, and it's just America is a big town, to quote what's the guy name, I'm showing my age here, Lock Cagraves from Taxi. Now, y'all don't know, I'm 59 years old. Despite the youthful voice, I am 59 years old. Okay.
I didn't even cut you off. Before I ask you where you originally from, yeah, guess how old I am?
What?
Guess.
59. No, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have a.
I'm
I
in the
don't.
fifties.
Okay. We can't tell from black men.
That's true. Well, I'll
I
be
can,
57 in a few weeks, June 4th.
okay, so good. So we have the same at least national frame of reference. And I grew up in DC, DMV. Um, and so where did you grow up?
I grew up in. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Is it better?
No, I mean the echo is still there when I talk.
Okay. Well, um, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York,
Okay.
and
Yeah, Brooklyn is I find that people from Brooklyn are very similar to people from DC. There's a lot of similarities. Now, my family is from I was born on Long Island. I was born in Hempstead.
okay.
And my family is in the Westbury, Amityville, Farmingdale area, right in
Okay.
there. And so, but I know the difference between like the island, for people on the island and people with
Yeah.
more in the city and all of that. But yeah, Brooklyn folk remind me a lot of DC folk. It's the same kind of energy,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
believe Coco Tina in the chat is she I think she's from DC.
Oh,
If I'm
okay.
not mistaken, she's from DC. But let's keep it going and everything. So you was raised in Long Island.
No, I was raised in D.C. Like I
Oh,
said,
DC. Okay.
like I got to yeah, Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Oh, Pop was
So
Rolling Stone.
yeah, yeah. So all
DC
this
is
matriarch
Chocolate
and stuff.
City now, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
Chocolate City.
yeah, and all this matriarch stuff we talk about in the management. I mean, that's my life. I know that
Right.
because my father's oldest sister, she took up the slack,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then her husband. he took up the slack for one of his nieces. So in the house I was raised, it was like nobody was naturally brother and sister. We were cousins, and in one sense, really not related at all because my uncle's niece would be of my uncle through marriage, through the marriage of my aunt to him.
Right.
His niece would be of no relation to me,
Mm.
but she was my sister more so than my blood sister.
Mm.
So, and yeah, so we had it all, man. With the family tree, arguments about the family tree. It just got me so mad. I said, we just need to do away with this blood thing and just come up with a thing called love over blood. Because black
Yeah.
folks, we just make a family out of need, you know. It doesn't even have to be who is technically the sibling to this one or that one. You get raised in a household, and those people, those are functionally your siblings. So it's complex. But yeah, I was raised in DC, but I spent a lot of summers and stuff in New York, with my visiting my parents, who, to complicate it even more, who were divorced. Or no, the Negro way. They get separated. They never get divorced. we just leave and just don't officially do it. So I'm like spending half the time in New York with my father, half the time with my mother, but living in DC. So I'm like all over the place. So I understand a little bit about all these different places and different cultures, how they differ, and mostly the continuity.
All
So I
right.
just I just get a kick out of
Yeah.
in the manosphere how we get tripped up over that. Think that we
Yeah,
so different.
I want to get into that really in a few minutes. But in DC, y'all, the inventors of go-go music, the late Chucky
Yeah,
Brown, the guy don't know. I know some stuff down in
that's
DC.
it. That's it.
Yeah, you got the late great Marvin Gaye. You got
Yeah,
Dave Beam, famous basketball player,
spin
Hall of
spin
Fame.
gone, spin gone.
Spagon, yeah. So
Don't forget
I know a little something about
don't
Tri City.
don't
And
forget Donnie Hathaway.
Donnie Hathaway, yes. Donnie
Yeah.
Hathaway, yes. And so there's quite a few our heroes is originally
Duke
from D.
Ellington. Don't forget Duke Ellington.
Duke Ellington, yeah, one of the best composers ever in popular music. He composed over close to believe 3,000 songs in his career.
Oh, so
He
you a jazz
covered all
man?
genre. Yes.
Oh, I am too. Straight ahead, brother. Okay, I'm straight ahead
Yeah,
jazz.
I do underrated music talk too for a minute. So
Oh,
check
well,
it out.
you
You need to
needed to
go
give
through.
me. Yeah. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I know a
Thank
little
you.
something. I know a little
Oh, I
something.
know a
But
little
but
something.
but it's about you tonight. It ain't about me. But I
No,
want you to
I
ask
get that.
questions
I
about
get that.
me.
I get to ask you questions too, because
Yes, yes, sir.
see, you
So you
really
can
piqued my
ask, but
interest with
mostly
the
it's
jazz
about you.
thing. Now,
Right,
I'm gonna see
exactly.
how I'm
I
gonna see how
got you.
deep you go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see how deep you go.
Hey, yo, bro. I don't mind.
All right.
I don't mind. I'm not afraid. I ain't scared.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go. If I don't know, I don't know. And but I'm glad you're here and you can ask anything you want. And explain to people why it's so important that you were born and raised in DC, and that's like to me that's like the melting pot of our people too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
DC is
tell them that
significant.
right. I didn't mean to
DC.
cut you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, good. I'm just saying DC. I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah, DC to me is significant. I think it's significant that it should be have a special place in the history, especially in the Great Migration that's coming from the South. DC
Yes.
was one of the first places that we could get good jobs
Right.
because we were building the nation's capital, all these monuments and the White House and all that stuff. And so
Right.
DC was one of those
Exactly.
places where we were able to establish a black middle class
Yes.
pretty early on.
Yeah.
So I'll say the people now, the people DC folks ain't gonna like this, but I gotta call it like it is. The
Uh huh.
people in the South, they got more hustle and grind because
Uh huh.
we have it easier because we got DC government, we have the federal government, we have Maryland state and city governments,
Yeah.
Virginia state and city governments, and so all of these, we call it the DMV for short. All these governments are right there overlapping, and then you got every department or whatever, whatever, and the federal government has a headquarters in DC.
Right.
So it's a large population of people, black people, that's working at various levels in all of these governments.
Right. Exactly.
So
So
it's a stable, in a relative sense, it's probably the most stable place in America.
yeah.
But we have variability, but it is the most stable because these governments don't lay off as much as private sectors do.
Right. Hmm. Got you.
So it's not a coincidence that we end up with, say, a Prince George's County, Maryland, which had at one point was I believe it still is, the highest concentration of black wealth, and I've heard it stated as in the world. The highest concentration of black millionaires is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you growing up there with a black mayor, actually two, uh, Mayor Washington, and then later first elected black mayor was Marion Barry.
Marion Barry. Yeah.
Unfortunately, people think of, when you say the name, they think of crack and all of that. But
Yeah, but I did.
he was an
But you.
outstanding mayor. He was an
Yeah, but I'm gonna
outstanding mayor.
say this though. But me looking at Marion Barry, I'm talking about me look outside looking in.
Right.
He had helped us as a people to get good jobs
Yeah.
and also advocate for us. He was not apologetic to fight for our rights as a people,
No,
to
he was
make
not.
sure that we could be on certain positions of decision making.
Yeah.
And I respect him for that because let's be honest here. There are some black men, I'm talking about some in the past
And the president.
and the present, right? And the present has not stepped up.
Yeah. He
But
was
what
not afraid to
but
irritate people and speak truth
so
to power.
he laid a standard, not just for DC, but for around the country, that he did not apologize and be of African descent, and he was an inspiration. I'm talking about for me. I know he's an inspiration around the country, but I'm talking about for me personally. He was an inspiration as a black man. Stand up and not afraid to fight against the people of the evil system, and I respect him for that.
Yeah, I respected him too. He was one of my heroes growing up. One of the models I looked at for my model for how to be a black man in America and not sell myself out. Okay. And so on the national scale, Jesse Jackson was a model for me. And on the local scale, Marion Barry was a model. Because during the day, 9 to 5, Marion Barry wore a three-piece suit regularly.
Yeah.
Regularly. But at 5 p.m., he put on dashiki. Okay, so he showed us. See, we say the word code switching now. We didn't have that word back then, but it was explained to me by my aunt, my parents. 'Cause she was a teacher. She was a public school teacher, so she explained to me that that's how I had to function in America. She explained to me that that's how a black man has to move in America. You have to go in there and put that suit on to go talk to the money people,
Yeah.
but you don't sell your people out when you get there.
Right.
Then you still come back to your people.
Mm-hmm.
And when he won his election, he chose to live in the poor section of town. He could have had his mayoral home anywhere. He chose to put it in the poor section of town, and that's the kind of loyalty. That's why, one of the reasons why people were loyal to him. Because he knew how to politic,
Hmm.
and he pretty much gave black people a work ethic, young black people, because DC had the best summer job program in America. It became like
You know what?
the
Somebody had
template.
told me that too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's somebody. I had somebody that grew up in New York. He has family
Hmm.
in D.C. He said, "Man, they get the best." But you know, it was one time in the '90s. Now I'm old now. I'm letting you know I'll be 57. So we talking about early to more towards mid '90s. I said between '93, '94, something like that. It was like construction site.
Yes.
I believe it was like Northwest DC. I
Hmm.
believe, and they show it was accidentally was so supposed to be shown, but he just showed it, and it was like Caucasian Puerto Ricans,
Yep.
right? And
Hmm.
I want people. You know what I'm getting down. So I want
Yep.
to make a long story short. So it was. I never forget. It was somebody. It was like one black man. He was like on disability, and he said, "I just want to work part time to feed my family and stuff." He said, "What happened?" They said, "I cannot get no job," and it was like hundreds of black men and black women with jobs. And I'm saying like this: he came down there with his crew, with the police, and he standing just like this. Ain't none of y'all gonna get these jobs. I'm giving it to them. But we in a union. I don't care what the union do. This is our city.
Right.
Our people is gonna get these jobs first.
Right.
And understand as a black man, I'm talking about for me now, as me pushing 30, I came from a place that they trying to silence the black man's voice. I was born in '66. So when I was coming up, it was always I had to, even my late father, you hear what I'm saying? Because he's from Georgia. So when I see that, it brings a connection back now. That masculinity can know. Get out. This is
That's
our
right.
people. And then I remember some people, no, you come back. This is your city.
Right.
And they end up getting the job within 2 days. And kick them out and kick them white and the Puerto Ricans out. Now people say, you against Puerto. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying this that us as African descent, it has to be a standard when we stand up for ourselves. And when Mayor Barry, brother Barry, when he did that, it bring the significance for me. My masculinity was always here, but it was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Right.
And it was beautiful, and you know I ain't gonna lie, I was cocky. Yeah, get the motherfuckers out. Thank you. So I
And
salute to
that's
Mary Barry for that.
and that's the real reason why uh, America at that time has spent the greatest amount of money in an investigation in the history of this country to bring down Marion Barry, and they get him for what? Smoking crack in a hotel room with a woman, as though that's a big national security threat to the nation. Of all the things, why was that case the most expensive federal
But
investigation in the
yeah,
history of this
but you know
country?
why.
The reason why is because of what you just said. Because those of us in DC know it because we saw it happening. Because of what you said, he stood up to put black people in jobs in the government. He made those contractors, when they wanted to get DC government contracts, they had to hire certain numbers of black people. He wouldn't give them the contract. And when after the King riots in the 60s, a lot of white folks owned a lot of property in DC, and they abandoned it. They left the city, and they let the building stay there, and just get trashed, and they didn't clean it up or board it up or anything. And so Marion Barry had this program called Clean It or Lean It, meaning if you don't come and clean this property, we're gonna put a lien on it and take it. So this is a black mayor telling rich white people owning property in downtown DC, in the nation's capital, if you don't come and clean this property and make it look good and stop making it an eyesore in my city, we're gonna lien it and ultimately take your property. So between messing with their real estate and making them hire black people, that's really what the investigation was about. And they charged him with like giving money in contracts to his friends. And Marion Barry said, "Who am I supposed to give it to? My enemies?" It's like
Yeah.
that's the American way. Nepotism is the rule, not the exception. So, but when black people get in position, everybody's counting how many black people you hire, but nobody's counting how many white people, white owners are hired. It's this, and this is this repeated story all the way back to when, with the Flip Wilson TV show.
Mm-hmm.
They hired the white writers. Richard Pryor had his TV show. They got rid of Paul Mooney
Paul
and
Mooney,
Franklin
y'all.
Ajay and all them folks, and they start putting the white writers in. You come all the way up to modern times when you get to Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. Same thing. So you see, they'll use a black person as a token
Mm-hmm.
and
That's true.
hire all of their family around it. The only black people involved be the one you see on TV, like Oprah Winfrey. Ain't nobody black working behind the scenes,
No.
you know.
And
And
also,
side and in sidebar, I worked in
yeah.
media for 25 years.
Mm.
Okay, so I know how that industry works,
You know
and
what? I
so
heard that you talk about. Let me mention this, and I'm gonna get back what you were saying. Also, people don't know Paul Mooney, the late great Paul Mooney, had wrote some episodes for Sanford and Son too.
yeah.
So I just want to put that in. Yeah, I know you was talking about what you just said and stuff like that.
Yeah. So Marion Barry went right at the money.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I know the name Jesse Jackson don't carry no weight now, but he went right at the money too. And so when I hear younger people, 35 and 40 years old, say that we didn't do anything and nothing got accomplished, I'm like, they really have been miseducated. They don't know how much black people protested to basically take the jobs,
Uh-huh.
to create this middle class. So when the Cosby Show came out in the 80s, early 80s,
Mm-hmm.
people said it was unrealistic. Black people didn't live that way because we hadn't really created the large black middle class yet. So the person that's 40, 30, 40 years old, they are an anomaly. They're the first in American history that have a black middle class this large. So that Cosby show, which was aspirational, became the reality that we manifested. I know Kevin Samuels hated that word, but it's real. We manifested that. We made the unreal, the aspirational, we made it reality to the point that people 40 years old, they think that it was always this way. So a
Yeah.
whole lot happened in America from the late 60s when we start having black mayors. That's what changed everything. Because now we started hiring each other in these government jobs with good benefits, secure jobs with pensions. Okay, so now you got a pension, they're not retiring in poverty. So now the elder with the good job and a pension can be there to support the grandchildren. So us breaking through the barrier of the quote good government job um, was got us into the middle class. That and military. That and the military got created the black middle class that we take for granted right now.
Yeah.
You know.
To go along on that, how do you got in the stocks and bonds and generation wealth?
Uh I would say my arrogance, ego, competitiveness. Uh, I always had a high opinion of myself, if you want to say it like that,
Yeah.
because I was raised in a black middle class family, and I was raised in the poor section of DC, southeast,
Hmm.
where Marion Barry was living. they they do have we in all of America, because of the way the quote the ghetto is constructed, the classes are compressed. So you have middle class people and doctors and lawyers and people like that that live in the poor sections. You'll see this repeated all over America. And my family was one of those middle class families, um, in the poor quadrant. So I saw the people coming to the store with the funny color money. Okay. So they lived in my neighborhood. We went to the same schools, elementary, junior high, and high. We went to the same church. So in the way that the quote ghetto or the way redlining worked, it pushed us all together. So when I was raised to think that no one was better than me. Now, when I got my quote real good, just to fast forward, I got a job in a good paying job in media. It caused me to drop out of Howard, because it was what I wanted. So I got a job at a network at like when I was turning 23, and there was this white guy there that was like maybe a year younger than me, and he would talk to this older white woman. She was maybe 40 and he was like 20. And they would have regular conversations about stocks, deep conversations. And I didn't have a clue what they were talking about. And the fact that this white guy was younger than me, and from my perspective, he seemed like he knew everything about stocks, and I knew nothing. And my inferiority came out, and I had to deal with that. I'm like, wait a minute, I can't think I'm equal to him if he knows a whole lot about something this important and I know nothing. So my pride and ego got injured, and so I took my butt to the bookstore, uh Barnes and Nobles and Crown Bookstore. There was no internet then. Okay, so I had to go buy me some books to try to understand what they were talking about, because I did not like that position of him knowing a lot about something important and I knew nothing, and I couldn't lie to myself and tell and say to myself that I wasn't inferior. I felt inferior and I didn't like it. I knew I was smart enough to learn it. And so I asked him, how did you see, can you turn, I'm hearing the echo. Can you turn the mic off for just, and I I said, how did you learn this? He said, I learned it from my father. He said, my father would talk about it every day at the dinner table. And I thought about it. I said, nobody in my family knew anything about it. No cousins, uncles, grandfather, nobody. And I decided at that point that I would become the first in my family to know about it. And I just started reading as much as I could. And again, there was no internet. I didn't have a personal teacher. I just started subscribing to Money Magazine, Success Magazine, Entrepreneur Magazine, Kiplinger, Smart Money. If it was a money related magazine, I subscribed to it, because the job I had was a pretty high paying job, so I could afford to have 7 8 magazine subscriptions, and that's how I did it, just slowly grinding.
Got you. Now, are you willing to ask questions?
Yeah.
Okay. I usually wait till like 30 minutes, but Y'all can put your questions in now while we still chop it up. So anybody want to put down? Let me say this: I have the right to screen the questions. If the questions and I feel it's not appropriate to ask, I'm not asking. So take
No, you can
heed to
ask
that.
whatever. If I'll answer
Okay.
it or not answer it. They can ask me anything,
Okay. We gonna.
and
No,
I'll
I'm just that's
decide.
how I do it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, man. I'm not thin skinned like that. If they tough enough to ask the question, they need to be tough enough to take the answer.
Okay, but I'm just letting you know that's how I run my. That's how because I'm
Okay.
showing respect.
Yo, I'm cool. Remember, I'm a DMV Negro.
Right, I got you. All right, so anything goes then. But
Yeah, bring
let
it,
right.
bring it.
Yeah. All right. So let me ask you this question. Then, like I said, whatever question you want to ask me, feel free. Um, I know you've been talking about stocks and bonds for years, and the black families and stuff, and migration and stuff. Why is so prevalent today that we still gotta continue these conversations, my brother?
Uh, I guess I don't look at it that way. I, I don't. I guess I don't have an expectation that we should have solved this by now. I think a lot of people think, well, we shouldn't still be in this situation. This should all be solved. I totally don't understand that point of view. I think the people that think that way underestimate racism. I don't think, and beyond race, even I can't even talk race because then they think, oh, there you go, making excuses. Okay, then I think they just misunderestimate social hierarchy. I don't think they understand how the length that powerful people go to maintain their dominance over the masses. So I think that we have achieved a minor miracle because the plan was for us to never leave slavery. The plan was for us never to read. So the fact that here we are in my lifetime, I knew no one who knew anything about stocks or anything like that. When I was a child, Prince George's County, Maryland, was a sundown town. Okay, so the Klan was rampant there. You better not be out there during the night. Okay, you better be out of there because there was very little difference between the Klan and the police. Okay, back in those days. All right, and this is in my lifetime. I've seen it go transition from uh, Cracker Town to a powerful black um, county. Okay, so any DMV folks in the chat, if you're old enough to know about the Terrence Johnson uh, um, trial and conviction of when it was a young black kid got picked up. I think he had something he had stolen a motorbike or a bicycle or something like that, or thought to have stolen. I don't know if whether he did or didn't, but it was common back then for black youth. If you got picked up the police, you got beaten. You got assaulted by the police. You weren't just taken and put in a holding cell. You got beaten. So they beat this kid, and he got into a tussle with the police officer, grabbed his gun and shot him and killed him. And so this is I'm just making a point that that's what Prince George's County was. And in my lifetime, it became black and powerfully black. So the job isn't done. That's why we have to still talk about these things because what we're up against is huge. And I look at things from a global perspective. I consider myself a Pan Africanist. So I see these problems everywhere we are on planet Earth. So it's bigger than America. So it's a big job. And I don't expect that we're going to solve it in our lifetime, but we can move the ball forward. Just as we created uh, reality from the Cosby Show. We just expect to be doctors and lawyers and engineers and the like right now. That wasn't the case in the 70s. So,
Got you. Do you have any kids?
no, no,
Okay,
I've
got you.
I've I avoided that one. I almost got trapped though. Yeah, man. One big booty Judy tried to get me, man. I was after it. She one day she called me up. She said, "Why don't you don't go to school? I'm gonna come over." I said, "Wait a minute. I've been stalking you all." I'm saying to myself now, I've been stalking her all this time, and now she called me up, and it's her idea. She just gonna give it to me. Something in me said, "Nah, this ain't right." So I passed on it. Couple months later, that belly got big, and she couldn't look me in the eye. But no, I never. I had some close calls, and men, we all had the close calls, but
Yeah,
it never happened.
yeah,
I've had many breakages. Let's just say that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
Let me make this now. Welcome to my channel, The Underrated Darkness. Y'all shoot the number one grinder, one of the best kept secret on social media, the best of the business. Um, and we here with the one and only Dollar Will, Dollar Will, and
can I can I can I jump in and answer response to Coco, Tina,
yes, yeah, I
Jay,
was getting ready to
O
answer
O
that
twenty
anyway. Go
one?
ahead.
Yeah, did I not want children? Yeah, I wanted children. This is when I graduated high school in 1982, and so my 20s was from 82 to 90. What I noticed in that period, and for the person that's like 40 years old, I'm talking about, say, your mother's generation. Okay, what I noticed is that the women didn't want to be married. And that shocked us men. We're like, whoa. So a lot of us men, when we get around like between as young as say 28 and up to say 32 to 35, we trying to come out the club. Nobody, you don't want to be the old dude in the nightclub. And so we trying to shut it down. By that time, you've dated enough, and okay, this is just what women are. You're just gonna have to pick one, and that you can that's like at least 80% of what you're looking for, and make it work. And a lot of my friends were in that same mind state as me, but the women didn't want to be married. They got used to their freedom. They didn't want it. And so we knew way back then that this was going to be a problem in society. So when I hear the young guys in the mask say, "Y'all don't understand," I'm like, yes, I understand. I knew the women your age, I knew their mama. Okay. Yeah, I do understand.
Got you. And Coco Tina, I ask you, what do you think about DC becoming a state?
I think it's absolutely going to become a state now that it's getting whiter. I said back at the time when statehood was going on, I said it's too black. It's too black, too democratic, and the white majority in this country is not going to let a city that's that black and that Democrat become a state, because you couldn't be a Republican in DC. You just might as well disappear, because it's like 90% of the daggone voters are like Democrats. So it's just it would never be allowed. And so between gun control, they would never relax gun control. Too many black men, and so now that the area is less black, far less black. Yeah, I think it's going to end up becoming a state. I think so, but
All right.
it won't have the meaning, because it won't be a black power base. I think the days of DC being a black power base, I think that's over.
You think that's gone?
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if DC has a white mayor soon.
Mm.
That's the shoe I'm expecting to drop.
Okay. Yeah, me, born and raised in New York. They says melting pot and everything. It wasn't really no melting pot,
Right.
and it's not. People think that no, especially us Africans, it's always going to be eating from the bottom, and it's going to be people always going to step over us. And let me ask before I continue, is it possible I could have you back? So
Sure.
you could talk. So you could talk about Mayor Barry in the DC politics because I don't think they don't know significant as you and Coco Tina does, and
Right.
I know somewhat about it, but I want to do a special so we can talk about it and
You know
how they
who else?
connect
You know who else
today.
would be good? What's his name? DC. What, the Code Breaker?
Code breaker.
The Code Breaker, the brother Code Breaker. Look up, type in Code Breaker channel. Um, he comes on Art New Star show a lot, and BGS and stuff. But he's very politically involved, and so he could give you a good take on the state of politics in DC right now, and I could talk about what it was like in the past. So, because I'm just kind of disengaged from it, because the
Got okay, okay, I got you.
because the stock trading for me right now, I'm totally convinced that our liberation is in these markets. It's not in politics. It's absolutely not in politics. We got to go right for the jugular vein of capitalism, and that's the money. Money is
I
portable.
agree.
Money is portable power. You show me somebody who don't know how to convert money to power, I'll show you a fool. Because in America, everything is for sale.
Yeah,
Just about
it's all about capital. America always been
al-
capital anyway.
almost everyone is for sale. If you think you're not for sale, look at your paycheck every Friday, every other
Mm.
Friday. That's how much you cost. Because you know you don't like it there. So we all sell out in America.
Yeah, I say this right. I said for me, I'm saying it for years that us as a people, we need to get together. I mean, me and the Miss, right? She originally from DC, and we visit the African American Museum. And I said, I told anybody, please visit there and get the knowledge there. And if you have young kids, I would not recommend it because they're gonna be running around. I said like somebody like kids like 12 or 13, that'd be good. And but get back to my point. I was talking to a brother, and he was pushing for reparations, and he was talking about people just want to talk about reparations of language and laws and stuff. It's all about money. It's all about capital. And I remember I was talking to this brother, and he was like make some valid points about that reparations. It's not about we want to cut the check and it's all about capital. And I think that sometimes we have to gear our mind. And yes, land, yes, Sister Cocaine, right. And we got to talk about capital. We got to, like you said, we got to go for the juggernaut instead. We demand capital because these laws and the purse with it, that's how they play us. And so do I have to we have to have the social contact with it? Yes, but at the same time we had to get the capital. We had to get the money. We have to put the head. We have to get the money and stuff. And this only way that we can have power, economic power, and we could help our people up, and hopefully one day it don't have to be a class.
Yeah, I think that there's a political naivete in us that we got to We got to rid ourselves of it. We keep making moralistic arguments to people who don't have morality. We keep telling white people that they should give us reparations because it's the right thing to do. That that's silly. That's immature.
Right.
It's like grow your ass. I'm sorry. It's like grow up. No, it's going. They're going to give us reparations because it's good for them, not because it's good for us. Okay, they're going to have. They will give us reparations when we become a more powerful entity and they care what we think of them. Right now, we have no power. Therefore, they have no reason to care what we think or how we feel. You don't make concessions to people you don't respect.
Right.
So until we get some power, we're not going to get no reparations. So the reparations will come as a peace offering to build a better relationship with this powerful entity that we have to become. Until we do that, this is a joke. Now, I'm not saying don't fight the fight for reparations. I think it's the right fight, but don't tie our hopes and dreams and uh, expectations of overcoming on reparations. No, we have to get it without the reparations while making the argument for it. And that's why, to my mind, we have to be pan-African in our thinking. We really do. And we got this ADOS FBA thing that's choking us out. That we done built a prison around America and we're in it. And America is a prison cell. And we've locked ourselves in it. We have to be African originated people of the earth. And America is just where we live, just like all these other people from someplace else. Most of the people here come from someplace else. And they keep it straight in their mind that this is just where they are now, but they have ties to someplace else. We fight that. The most minerally rich place on earth is Africa. The youngest population on earth is Africa. All the major countries from China, America, and Europe, they all know they have to have a connection to that. If we had a connection to it, take our middle class. If you middle class in America, you rich in a lot of African countries. There are business opportunities you can get into in say Africa that you cannot do in America because you don't have enough money to do it in America. Let alone racism. You just don't have the money to do it. But in say African countries, they would rather work with us and our money goes further. Now, if we go and grow ourselves up economically there, those of us that can. I'm not with this everybody thing that everybody need to go and no. It has never taken everybody to do anything. If you believe in the 80-20 rule, if you really understand it, that rule means that Pareto principle holds that 80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. That's really what it comes down to. So it's a critical mass thing. So I hear people saying they believe in the 80-20 rule, but then when you really explain it to them without saying that that's what you're saying, they say, oh, you talking some talented 10%, talented 10. Well, if you believe in the Pareto principle, you're talking about the talented 20%. What's the difference? So there is a class of black folks that has to venture out beyond this country, take the tremendous advantage of living in this country and having exposure to these schools and these good jobs. We are in a privileged position to have this opportunity, but we are not maximizing it. And the way you maximize it is to leave. That has to become natural to us. People say, well, everybody else coming here, why would we leave? Because it's better here from their perspective of having nothing. But when you come here and get something, you leave. They leave. America is the richest consuming consumer base in the world. Every country in the world wants to sell something to America because we have the most money, the most disposable income. So we're sitting at the top of the chain. So we need to get involved in globalism, global capitalism. Do like these companies do. They export your jobs around the world. They look outside of the borders of this country for cheaper labor. We have to think like that. We have to see that on a smaller scale, we can do the same thing that these corporations do. We can go to other countries and set up little business empires. But it won't work if we just build a prison around these borders. I remember when Trump came in office and he was talking all that talk about, building a wall to stop immigrants from coming in. I was laughing. Like, y'all don't get it. You build that wall, that's a prison. That wall ain't to keep them from coming in. The wall is to keep you from going out. That's what the wall is. So here we got this passport brother movement, and now you can't even get a passport. It's a backlog. People waiting months. People been waiting 2 and 3 months, still waiting. And they paid for the expedited one, and they still waiting.
That's true because I was hearing back in March in New York, and I'm talking about New York City. It was like about 66% of people still waiting to get their passport.
Right. America does not want you to see something. They know if we, in particular, we black people in America, are holding this whole country together because we're the footstool of this social hierarchy in this country. Everybody else built their self-esteem off of comparing themselves to us. So the worse they can make us look, the better everybody else looks in comparison. And as long as they're not at the bottom, they feel good about themselves. But if we start making moves to rise up off the bottom, this country will tear itself apart.
Yeah,
The only thing stopping them from fighting each other is the fact that they fight us. That's it.
I would say this that I've been talking about this for years on my town that the black man, the black woman, we gotta work together in all phases, and then
Globally.
globally. And I've been saying that, and they laugh at me, and I said, listen, where the black man and black woman work together, there's no stopping us globally.
Right.
I'm talking about the finance and everything, and what you represent, and other people, and it's power. Capital is power,
Yeah. Portable power.
and we got understand. And I think I'm glad that you talk about it because I gotta get back and talk about that because I've been missing that for years. I mean I ain't got away from it, but I've been doing other things on my channel. But capital is power, and we have to understand that they're not gonna give it to us.
Nope. And look, man, let me say right now, I'm not some rich guy, man. I'm like everybody else trying to pull myself up out the mud and trying to like teach myself stuff I should have, that in a proper functioning culture,
Right.
I would have learned at the dinner table, with from my parents. So I'm not very different from everybody else. Okay. I'm not trying to, I don't want nobody to think that, so, we all trying to get it, you know.
But I would say this, brother, before we continue. Like I said, ask me questions, but I would say this that I hear it in space that it can never happen, and we lease. I say we lease capital instead of owning and stuff like that, and I feel that there's wrong. I have to say this: all black folks ain't good folks.
Oh,
It's
of
just
course
not.
not.
It's just not.
Right, and
And they
even on my Pan African thing, yeah, I know that. I don't expect them, black folks around the world to be have their self together any more than we got ourselves together. They a mess. Their mind has been twisted, just like ours has been twisted.
yes,
So we're not. They're no better than us. But as dysfunctional as we are globally, we gotta fix it. We're gonna be the N word of Earth until we fix it. We just sitting here waiting for the next power group to be determined so that we can become their N word. If we don't fix this, and it's in nobody's best interest to fix this but ours. But we want to be these national identities that we have that these slave ships dropped us off on, and we just embrace it as though that's something genetic. It's a sickness, you
it
know.
is.
But on the money thing, I'm gonna to find out about you. But I'll say one of the biggest mistakes I made, that a lot of us make, is we mirror white people.
Yes,
Even on, this is my theory, because I rail a lot against this whole college thing. Okay, I rail against that too. And we need to understand that education and college are not the same. We need to have a love for education and knowledge that may or may not require college. I'm not against college either,
right,
but I'm not in that boat that says everybody need to go to college. That's ridiculous.
right,
Okay. Now, I think coming or out of slavery or during slavery, I think our elders saw, say, the black child, and they saw little Master Johnny, the little white kid, and said, "Why can't my child be like that child?" And so everything the little Master Johnny had, we rationalize that if we give that to our child, we'll be better off.
right.
That was a gross oversimplification that we make, an error that we make even to this day. Little Master Johnny is rich. Little Master Johnny was born into a rich class. He would never need a job in his life.
Right.
Little Master Johnny is going to school to learn how to be the boss, to manage his inheritance. But that black child, he gonna need a job. So those two children are gonna have different strategies in life. And that's why we can't look to white people and what they have as the model for what we should have and what we should be trying to accomplish. Our strategy is different
Right.
because our position is different. Just like that African, and people go, why are they always trying to come to America? Because their position is different than ours. So our strategy is going to be different. You know. So
Gotcha.
I think we gotta get get real, because we, like I said, we need a job. That's first. Now we have this large middle class. Now we need to learn how to make the most with what we have. So
Right.
we have six-figure folks that's a paycheck away from being impoverished.
Gotcha.
We have six-figure folks in debt. That's common. And this is an American thing. I'm not picking on black people. But I'm saying because we mimic white people or their ills, we get that too. So now, personally, the mistake that I made if I could do it all over and change about my life and change in black behavior, we got to stop going to buy that house as the first thing we do with our money. We need to get a damn business. Find a way to create a stream of income with that money so that if you lose that job, which happens to us a lot, you don't fall back on welfare.
Right.
So even if that means staying in the house with your parents a little longer, some of us, not all of us, some of us who are able to start a business or something like that need to do that. And then let the money from the business buy the house. But so as soon as we get a good job, we run and get in debt.
Yeah.
30 years worth. But that's the American way. It's stupid.
Got you.
But it's what white people do. So
Yeah.
therefore it must be right.
Yeah. The standard.
You can't get free from being in debt.
Yeah. That's true.
But I'm guilty, we're all guilty. It's in the culture. But we
Yeah.
don't have these deep conversations about what things that white people do we should mimic and what things we should not.
Not right.
We don't have that critical assessment.
Yeah, I
We're
think it's
not
more.
we're not introspective and we don't make comparative analysis.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it's very essential that we gotta have conversations. Sister Coco Tina asked this question. So, what type of music do you like to listen to?
Uh, I mostly listen to. God, I'm such an old dude right now. I was just talking to my best friend. He's 57 also. We were like, man, we need to listen to some newer music. So I'm really kind of stuck in the music of like the straight ahead jazz and some of the R&B and stuff of the 70s. I'm kind of stuck. As far as I got into the rap would be I like Kendrick Lamar. But I need to hear some more of it, because I was a recording engineer, so I love music,
Right.
But you get old, you kind of get set in your ways,
Yeah.
and things change, styles change, and you have to. We older people have to listen a little longer, a little deeper to understand what's going on with the new sounds. But I find that once I do make that commitment to really try to understand what the young people are putting down, that I like it. I just have to apply myself more.
Yeah. Got you.
You know.
Okay, you said this is something you want to ask?
Yeah. So are did you have a military background?
No.
Okay. So what's your what how did you get your start, like coming out of high school? How did you get established in this dog eat dog
Well,
capitalism?
basically, me born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. My parents was so poor, but we had the necessary things to keep us survive. But they always preach, to do better. Then I moved to the PJs. Back in the '70s, that's something like something new. Something like be step up to be better and
What's the PJs?
projects.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't even thinking that. And so what age were you when you moved to the PJs?
I was going on 10 years old.
Wow. Okay.
So basically, I was the block that I live on. It was like one side of the block. Only had like three apartment buildings, and the rest of it was brownstone. And the other side was number brownstone and brownstones.
And that's
So
that class compression I was talking about.
right,
That the middle
exactly.
class and the poor, we live right up on each other.
Right, and that's right. And so basically, for me, I know when I was very very young how the system is, and for me, be around the Black Panthers and stuff, because there are some Black Panthers that live on the block. So that's when I got my political beliefs in Africa and stuff like that, and I was happy for that. And so basically, all my life I stand against the system, evil system, what it represent and everything. And also I learned from the Black Panthers when they talk about white supremacy and all that stuff. It's a global thing. It's not just a American thing. And I think that's what it's all about. So I learned that when I was very 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 young. So for me, be part of special education community, you know, the young black boy always was getting discriminated. So like I said, young black girl didn't. Yeah, they did, but it was more. And so basically, you just got to see this evil system what it is, and so it was always for me and my late parents in their own way, always sticking for what's right, and so I always was a person that never say why. Nah, don't tell me that I'm this and that. I know how people is, and so for me, I always been an advocate, for our people, and I'm not apologizing for it. And along the way, got a little sidetracked, and got back, do what I had to do. I always was doing always was pushing for our people, and so things is right now. I'm very very things upset, but I'm very agitated over because we should know better, and I think that sometimes us as the people, we just like you talk about globally, we just want to take certain things globally and just move on it. But we got to sit at the table globally, and and that's my thing. And
Yeah,
so
I think when people hear like you talk about racism and Brooklyn, you coming from Brooklyn, and me talk about it coming from DC, they think that we're making excuses
no, it's
and
no
being
excuse.
defeated. No, we're not making excuses. I don't know why they hear it that way. I said earlier in the interview that I was inspired by Marion Barry and Jesse Jackson, and we had a black middle class. So I saw black people work for the fire department, police department, with good government jobs, owning businesses, all of that. So I was inspired by all of it, but yet I still knew that racism was real.
Mm-hmm.
But I also knew that I could make it because I saw enough black people making it.
Right.
So I
Yeah,
think
and
people
see.
hear that, people get it wrong when they hear us acknowledging the presence of the obstacle, and they say that because we note that the obstacle is there, that we're preaching defeatism. That's crap,
Right. Yeah,
you know.
it really is. Because when I was a special ed, right, it was this. She's small. She was a small woman. Her name is Dr. Juanita Watch, and so she taught me. She showed me the art of the culture, Africa, the dashikis, and what the importance of Black liberation is. Capital, and we did dances of roots and stuff like that, and she was all about for our people. And indeed, she was one of the few women that stand up for black men. I remember I seen her was going against certain black women that turn against us as a people, especially turning us as young black boys. I said this on my channel earlier in the past, and I don't mind saying because I know you didn't hear it. I see the system had disfranchised a young black boy.
Yeah.
I see. I've been through it. You go to lunch, and you got these feminists.
Mhm.
and these flower boys. I'm being nice.
Oh yeah.
And be these flower boys and had these girls. And I'm not, and again, I'm not talking about young black girls and everything. I just have to call it as it is. They make sure they get their lunch together. So when we come up, we didn't get nothing. We got about scraps. But go back to Dr. Juanita Watts. No, this is my class. You going? We going up as class. This we ain't gonna do this and that. And so, as for me in my own way, I was fighting. I was fighting against it too. I said
Right.
nah. And so, for me to really look back, it was many. It was at nights that I don't get no sleep. It was many nights that I on the school bus. I see how they was treating our young black men, and even the ones, even the sisters that was the ones was like was 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 fighting with us, was getting perished, getting persecuted, but they kept on. And so, and then with this West Indian descent, her name is Miss Rose. And I remember every time, like the reading level, she always showed her grandson with doing. This is what you need to do, or this was derogatory and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm not him. You know what I'm saying? And she also was a feminist. She always talked down to us as African descent in this country. And so, picture a young black boy like me that knows somewhat about the system, deal with that for a long time, and keep your head up high despite you getting dogged out by the system that people of power. And so at that time it wasn't that many black men was teachers, and I'm talking about special education of masculinity. It was
Right.
none but racist women and racist men, and Uncle Tom and Auntie Tammy, if you know what I mean. You know what I
Oh
mean
yeah.
down
Oh
below.
yeah.
And so that's what I have to deal with. So anybody that was Pan African, they went to above and beyond. And I appreciate that for a young black boy, because I came from a time that they were showing racist Disney books of the 1930s and 40s. They didn't show us that much, and even they show pictures of us as a people. The pages was getting ripped out.
Yep.
You got white feminists, Puerto Rican feminists, and all that was calling us names and stuff. And you see other teachers was turning their head. We had to deal with that, and so well, for me talking about it and everything, like you said, like they said, you making it up. Let's not make it up. It happened. And
Right.
it happened a long time, even long before I came on this earth.
Right.
You know, so and people said, "Do you think it's going?" Yeah, it's going on right now. It just now we in the technology now, so you could really see it. But back then it wasn't no technology. But the psychological, the mental, spiritual, whatever you name, if you let it happen, you be damaged. So that's why when I hear certain conversations in the space, as you know, I don't participate in it because they don't know what the fuck they talking about.
Right. Right.
I don't entertain that. It's not, ain't like I don't know and everything. I do know the fuck I'm talking about. I just don't entertain it because you're acting like there's none of this stuff don't even happen. You know,
Right.
I remember I used to hear stuff like young black boys need to die.
Right.
Die, y'all, in PTA meetings, out in the conversation, while you having lunch, while your mother have you. You need to die. You know what I'm saying? And your picture, you go home and tell your mother, then your mother come up there. I know you ain't talking. And then they said, no, no, we didn't mean to say it, nothing like that. And now my mother didn't believe him anyway. She believed me anyway. But at the same time, you be living on a block that some of us as a people have been misinformed.
Yeah.
They didn't know better. Actually see black men get kicked out the house. I even see black women that support the black man that even they trying to kick the family out the house. I witnessed it. I seen it. So when people talk in this space, I just don't want to partake in it because you're not ready for like the conversations we talk about. You're not ready for these conversations. And please don't say, oh, it doesn't happen right now. Yes, it does. A whole lot what you think of.
Right.
And so, what's the solution for it?
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way as you. You know, but we got to have the conversation. That's that's why I find it frustrating to be on a lot of panels because I think there's too many people on the panels because people don't get a chance to get challenged for the dumb stuff they say. And you might have to, they need to be challenged. Like you might need to go 3 or 4 levels deep to see what where the flaw in their thinking is, and give them a chance to point it out or to understand it, to grapple with it. So just having everybody on the panel, we just stuff just kind of stays at the surface, But I hear a lot of toxic stuff in the space, but we gotta fix it. So that would make me a hypocrite as a Pan Africanist if I'm trying to go somewhere else and fix it. When I think we got to do both. We got to fix it wherever we are, everywhere we are. For so those people that have these crazy ideas, they have to be given a chance to find the exit ramp. And the way to do that, some the people that think differently have to step up and challenge them. Because the way social media works, especially with this algorithm, it keeps people in a ignorance loop. Like whatever stupid ideas we all have as individuals, the algorithm will feed you more of that. And the next thing you know, you got a community and of people who have these dumb ideas. And you think that it's easy for us to think that because there's a large number of people that think this way, it
Mm-hmm.
must be true.
Yeah.
you know so and that's the way we're being programmed right now with this algorithm. So we have to buck it and we have to step forward. So the best way I do it is I just blow up the chat because I can type as long as I want, say as much as I
Yeah.
want, but I can't talk as much as I want if I'm on a panel. So I just blow up chats.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I feel the problem with it is, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, because I can stand be corrected. They are people like we experience it, so we should be the ones talk about. There's the right conversation for wrong people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And
But talking is that's the only chance we got. And I
I
have and
understand
I have
talking.
seen have you noticed any change in the space? Because you've been around these parts, what, going back to like 2017 and maybe before, right?
Even a little before, yes, in the
Okay.
2014.
Okay, so that right there is like 9 years. This is 2023.
Mm-mm.
So you've seen people evolve, right?
Some,
I'm not saying most, but you've seen some. You've seen some people
some,
evolve.
the
Yeah, I've
a
seen some.
small percentage.
Right. But back to what I said earlier. It it has never taken everybody to do anything. It only takes a small percentage.
I understand that, but but this is my thing, brother. I want you to understand this though too, right? And then you've been in this space for a long time, so hopefully that you get what I'm saying. The things that we talked about on here, we willing to find solutions, but we've been through it. So, but when you have other people do not acknowledge the struggle, or do not acknowledge as a human, as a person of African descent, of your existence, that you're willing to solve it. No matter what it takes, you're willing to solve it. But you got people, and I'm talking men and women in this space, they do not want, they want to keep things going.
Yeah.
And the thing, and the sad thing about it, so we see what the conversation is. It's just recycling backwards instead of recycling forward to find solution. Or state what the next brother or sister saying. Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. You gotta listen to brother. I'll just use me as an example. You gotta listen to what Dollar Will. Listen, y'all not hearing what he's saying. He all about finding solutions. Are you willing to find? But at the same time, we have became fake gatekeepers. We love drama. We like to be around things something good. We always say that we want something better, but we always talk about that next gender instead
Right.
of finding solutions and say, look, what you saying, like he said, brother Grinder, what you saying is wrong. We cannot go there because we trying to put the black man and black woman together, and that's why at times I am very hard on the black man. I am very hard on the black woman because you should know better. Because I come from the cloth that the man be accountable and the women be accountable.
Correct.
That's the cloth I come from, and I stand very very firm with that. That's never going to change because you got some people that you cannot say this because they on this gender, or you cannot say this because you know this person got so many subscribers. No, if you wrong, yeah, yo, if you kicking out wrong information to hurt our people, I'm going to say it.
Right. But
That's,
they don't know that it's wrong. They they're like in a toxic feedback loop. They were raised around people who thought that way. Is that what I've noticed? I like to ask people, like, where you grew up and all. Because once they tell me where they grew up, I'm rarely surprised after that, because people that grew up in places like Brooklyn and DC, where there was class diversity, and there were um, and when I'm talking class diversity, I'm not talking income. I'm not conflating. We gotta be careful not to conflate class, which is more about values, with income, which is, whether you're poor or not, and where you are, poor, middle class, or rich. Because I've seen people who were economically poor raised with middle class values. They didn't have the money, but they had the aspiration to have the things of the middle class and to get it by following those rules. They had virtue, but they were poor. So that's why I never buy the argument that we have this thing we do in America where we equate poverty with immorality. When we say the poor are the criminals. No, the criminals are the criminals. I mean, the real, see, we don't tell the truth about that. See, I'm from that drug 80s, the crack era. I was 18, fully aware of what was going on,
Yeah.
and there was a large number of middle class people who sold drugs. And see, when you say that fact, somebody can say, "Oh, that's anecdotal." No, that's bull crap. Freeway Ricky Ross will tell you he was middle class.
Yes.
That was not the exception. And they were, and the common lie, well, I needed money. I couldn't get a job.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's true, but mostly it's not.
It's a hobby.
Because Calvin, the square nerd who was working at the McDonald's or the Burger King wearing the funny uniform, because I was that guy who said to the drug dealers, "Man, I can get you a job," but I was only making $3.25 an hour.
Uh,
They laughed.
yeah.
They're like, "Do you
And
know how much money I'm making?"
right,
Selling drugs.
exactly.
And the
Yeah.
richest people in the neighborhood was that 16, 17, 18-year-old drug dealer. He had more money than everybody's parents.
Yeah.
So I've seen many times young guys at that age with suitcases with money in it in closets and underneath the bed. That was common. So once a young person, a male, sees that, and then, of course, when he's spending it on a young woman, they get turned out. Their values get corrupted at that point.
Yeah.
And this is not something that just happens to poor people. It
No.
happens at every level. I mean, you have millionaires stealing money in America. So it's a values thing. But we try to put this uh, values deficit, this moral decay on the poor.
That's true.
And I
And
say
that's
we know it's like the way what I do to when I to like to just end this argument. Whenever somebody tries to buck back with this crap that people steal because they're poor and so, no, no. If that was the case, we would have homeless people stealing a lot.
yeah.
Do you see? Do you have you ever heard any epidemic of homeless people just knocking folks on the head and taking their stuff?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that anywhere in
Never heard
America?
that.
And
And let
so,
me go,
who has less
right.
money than homeless people?
Right. And let me go one thing better, brother. I'm telling you, you ain't far from apart. I was from the crack epidemic too. I actually seen people was selling drugs from brownstone in houses.
Right,
Was holding kilos of stuff. Yo, you gotta go through the back. After you get it, you go through the front. You cannot walk this way. You gotta walk the other way. I remember there are some brownstones was connected together. They used to have a little highway. You can go through the other house and come through there. I seen it.
right, right. I seen it too, and you gotta.
Am I right?
Oh, you totally right. See, people can't BS me on this crap because I grew up in them areas. So, and
That's what I'm saying.
I know
So,
those people individually and had the
right.
conversations in real time, and they didn't BS me because I had offered them jobs. They told me eventually, ultimately, straight up that I'm making too much money and I'm gonna take my chances with this. And so they
Yeah.
made a choice.
Let me tell you, man.
Okay, but we
I
like to
told people
flip
all
it
the
and
time.
make it
Yeah.
about poverty. How much money does it take for you to no longer be poor? So you can't have suitcases of money under your bed and tell me that you're doing it because you don't have money. Wait a
Right,
minute.
and this is right, and this is the thing about it, brother. They always say, "Oh, yo, the drugs come from the PJ." No, it wasn't. I said, "What is you talking about?" I said, "Yo, you go to certain Bed-Stuy, you know what I'm talking. Bed-Stuy on certain spot, out the brownstone. I'm talking about. Dead people were dressed in suits.
Yep.
Go home, change up, switch it up, and slinging. I actually seen corrupted cops, judges, all that coming out of that Go to the PJ. If you don't push that, we gonna lock you up. They was
Correct.
pimping the PJs, but that most of the drugs was coming from houses and brownstones and all that. But
Yep.
see, when you talk to people
Or
about that,
or
and
the
then you go
people
to
in
one
the
more thing.
brownstones are the ones financing it. They're not on the
Yeah, they
corner,
fight right.
but they
That's what I'm saying. The
financing it.
C right, like the CIA, like
Right.
Oliver North and stuff like that,
Right.
and all that stuff. They say, "We mean Oliver North." I said, I said the Nicaraguan government was right. Let me say, tell people this: the Nicaraguan government in the mid '80s, they were pushing drugs in our community. Oliver North, part the head of the CIA, was down with that. Oliver North was not poor.
Right. But we
They
always
was rich
characterize
people.
moral
Yeah.
decay as a poverty issue.
Yeah.
This is about a conspicuous consumption in America, or a byproduct of capitalism. It has nothing to do with being black or white or poor.
No.
That person sold drugs for the same reason that the police rob from people, pull you
Yeah.
over and take what you got and never report it. For the same reason that bankers embezzle money.
Mm-hmm.
It's same reason that Dan Snyder, who owned the Washington football franchise, lied about how much money he was making, cheating the other billionaire owners out of money,
Mm.
which is why they made him get rid of that team.
Mm.
So moral decay is not something that's just for the poor, and we gotta cut that out. All the crime statistics says the same people keep repeating the crime over and over. It's a small number of people responsible for all the crime. It's back to the 80-20 rule. See, we know this stuff, but we fall back on all this toxic BS you hear in the manosphere. And even the point on the women, we go they women deserve some smoke for when this Ebony K. Williams, when we get to the point where women make take advantage, rightfully of the privileges that they won, fine, go get yours. But to turn around to black men and say, "Well, I got mine. Why ain't you getting yours?" Knowing very well that the government is not financing us, not backing us.
Yeah. And let me go more better than this. Recently in 2020, 10 years, Goldman Sachs financed black women $1 million for 10 years.
Right. Right.
This recent, y'all.
Right. Right. And there is a disloyalty that women, and I'm not picking on black women, I'm including black women, but I'm saying all women. There's a disloyalty that women have shown men in this acquisition of their equality, even I'll say economic supremacy now. Because in all of these traditionally male jobs, and I worked in one, I was in media on the technical side. So this is male stuff. I mean, male little girls in America are given Barbie dolls and little stoves in kitchens and playing house like that. Little boys are given construction kits, model cars, model airplanes, racetracks, railroads, electronic kits. So our brain is being trained to see things as a circuit in a system, to think systemically,
Right.
to learn how to build things, to learn how to solve problems. So we have this socialization advantage into some of these fields. Now, in light of that fact, when women, not just black women, all women, when they got their right to quote equality and they came into these traditionally male jobs, it was the men, and mostly the black men, that taught all the women. The black men did not discriminate against women when they came into the workforce. The black men helped women close the gap that was created by socialization, by them getting Barbie dolls and us getting electronics kits. We taught them how to do all those traditionally male jobs. And then they turned right around and spat in our face. We watched them get promoted above us when we taught them, and they spat in our face.
Hmm.
That's what happened.
Yeah. But
Now,
see,
here's
yeah.
the part we got to take as men.
Hmm.
In those 50s, 60s, 70s, we said go get an education with no real regard for the socialization aspect of education. Education, all education, is indoctrination. All of it. There is no objective education. I hear people saying, well, math is math and science is science. What's racist about that? If I tell you everybody great in math and science was white, you're going to hate yourself. You're going to get the message. I keep pointing to the father of this uh, intelligent idea and that intelligent idea, and they never look like you. That's going to work on your psychology.
Yeah.
And so we did not have and do not have to this day a healthy suspicion for the cultural context that this education is resides. See, in the 80s, we had the Afrocentric movement.
Yes.
And the word at that time was ethnocentrism. And what ethnocentrism means is that all cultures, all of them, not just black culture, every culture on earth thinks that they're the best. There's no objective culture. There's no human or group of people, no group of people naturally, organically think that they are inferior.
Hmm.
So every culture thinks that they are superior. So if you're taught in a culture that's not your own, and I'm gonna go here, if you practice in a religion that's not set in a culture that's not your own, you're gonna be learning supremacy of those other people. And that's what the quote unquote pro black movement was dealing with in the 80s, getting us to understand that. They were not telling us to be anti education, they was telling us to put it in a black African context so that you don't end up with a fractured self esteem and ingest white supremacy along
Yeah.
with your technology, your IT skill.
Yeah. You know what, brother? What I so much appreciated is the late great Dr. Henry Clark,
Yeah.
Dr. Francis Wilson, and others back then in the '80s. Every people at that time, they become icons in our community because they've been doing the work. I think at that time, Henry Clark, I think he was going on 30 years, 40 years at that time, and he
Mm-hmm.
passed away in '96. But we was hearing that, and they was grads, and that the conversation was always there, a Pan African, but it came more prevalent for me. I'm gonna say for me in the '80s because we would see them, we could touch them, we could ask them, and they also was talking for free. It was people was giving money and everything, but at that time that actually helped me to take my Afrocentric to the next level because they was talking about global then too, but at the same time it was, and then in the '80s was so in the '80s that back then it was they had the light skin and dark skin, that complex was happening, and I'm a dark skinned brother, as you know, and got to go through that and everything, but I was so appreciative of our scholars, they was not afraid. They give us, they tell us what how it is. But the sad thing about when we go into the '90s, we didn't take heed to that,
Right.
and that's the sad thing about it. We
Right.
had it right there in the '80s. We could have taken and built it globally. We had it.
We had it.
You know, so
But
so
once
so
we got
basically,
jobs, man, and we started making money and buying nice houses in the suburbs and all that, we were like, we
oh
don't
yeah.
want to tell our kids this, and that's the 40-year old now. We're like, we don't want to tell them it's negative, and so now we're dealing with it. We're seeing that generation 40 and under on YouTube because of what we didn't tell them.
Yeah. And so that's
So
the
that's why
thing.
we got to have the conversation because it's really our fault.
Yeah. We dropped the ball, bro.
Yes, we
And
did.
we dropped it. We dropped the ball and everything. Anything else that you want to ask about me, feel free.
Um, what do you think is like been the positive in the manosphere? Or has there been a positive? I'm not going to assume that there has. Are there any positives that you could think of?
I think a positive for me are some brothers in the man. So my son, we are waking up and understand that we have power, us as black men, and learn to do for ourselves and bring back the value of masculinity. And I feel that is very, very important. We are re-examining ourselves, and we value, because for a long time we've been disvalued. And also, like you said, we gotta have these conversations. We gotta have these conversations, and so we know now which brothers that is not part of the movement of the black man to sustain themselves as a man. So that's the positive. That's positive I get from it and everything.
Now, how old is your son?
I don't have a son.
Oh, I thought I heard you say son. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
I misheard you. Did you ever get married?
I was married.
How long?
Almost 9.5 years.
Wow, man, you had a good run. You had a good
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, that's another lie.
I mean, how many of those years were good?
um,
But it couldn't have been all bad. 9 years is a long
I
time. Now you
said
had
that.
no kids,
I
so
said for the
you would
last 4.5. I could say that.
last 4.5 was good.
Last 4.5 was bad.
Was bad. Gotcha. So half the first half was good. The
Yeah.
second half was bad, and y'all were just staying together, trying to just stick it out.
I tried to stay together.
Gotcha.
See, right. I think the thing about that for me is like I came from a family, as you do too, that we work together. And when you let outside get in the way, that's gonna be problems. And so the ex-wife was letting her family get in the way, and I see what it is, and I walked. I can't do it. No. Mm-mm. So there was a lot of things I had to go through, and at the time, I caught a heart attack.
Wow.
You know, I was in pain, walking to the hospital. They said, "Do you know you know you had a minor heart attack?" I said, "No." So I stayed in the hospital over a day. I mean that overnight, and I actually signed myself out because nobody come pick me up. Well, I signed myself out, discharged, and came home, spent you know. That's when the mindset started moving. There's got to be some changes. So walk away from that.
Wow. Now, at the time when you were going through the demise of your marriage, were you mindful that this was something going on all over the country? Or at what point did you realize that, hey, wait a minute, this is not just my personal situation, but there's
Oh
something
yeah,
going on in
definitely.
the
Yeah,
culture?
I knew it was going all along, but at the same time, especially us as black men, we didn't have a voice.
Gotcha.
So I knew this was going on off. I know I wasn't alone, but the point is there was no safety of us as black men to talk and how to deal with it or stuff like that. So I definitely knew it was. I was not the first one. I wasn't the first in every. I knew it was happening all around the country. And then at the time, yeah, I understand. I was going on 40. There's black men was dropping dead. Okay, younger than me, even older than me, and that was so I had to see. I've been knew it was going on for a long time, even before then. But to actually see it, I had to think about myself. I want to live.
Right.
And so I gotta take the necessary steps. And sometimes as a black man, when we take the necessary steps, it's not gonna be popular. It's gonna be scrutinized and everything. But at the end of the day, your health is your life, your well being, or your not well being, or people can say your existence does count. And so
Right.
sometimes you got to make a certain stance for that, and it's not gonna be popular, especially us as black men. So I got to deal. I'm not. I wasn't the only one dealt with that. So I had to deal with that. So I had to take my loss. I took a loss, few losses.
So if you could talk to the younger you, let's say the 21-year old, or even the eight, let's go back to the 18-year-old you. Uh, First of all, what was your life like when you were around 18? Coming like on that, just coming out of high school, going into the world. What was your outlook? Were you optimistic, or did you have a plan, a direction?
I had a plan direction, but at the certain time, I was going through a lot, personally, but I was like isolated, you know. Our own people was hurting me, and also, but I always optimistic of our people. But at the same time, I had to make certain adjustments. Like I said, all black people is good people. So basically, it's like change around association. Keep on pushing for what's right for our people, even though that sometimes you're going to be persecuted for that. So basically, what helped me, believe in God, and plus I was playing ball, and also elders was good. Elders was around me, just a few that helped me a lot too. So
Wow. So you are playing basketball?
yeah,
Okay. So you a power forward?
yeah, I do a little everything. I was not like a superstar and everything, but I do a little here, do a little there. But basketball helped me a lot too, and it was a strategy. People think to play basketball just didn't know. You gotta know what to do. You gotta know angles. You gotta know what you gotta take away a person's strong side. And you gotta know and you gotta study. So I was playing basketball since I was 5. So during the '80s, basketball. I met some great people. And to this day, we had a very strong relationship. Even I call them as my brothers. That soon I'm going to do a podcast on them, told them too, on here. So watch out for that. Hopefully that'll be after my birthday, June 4th. And so I met some great people when I played ball. When I try go here, this part, that part, and everything. So
What would you say if you could talk to the younger you? What would you say to the young man version of you? If the 57-year-old you could talk to that younger you, what would you say to you?
I would tell them that understand, have a plan, and stick to the plan. Be around men that believe in you and willing to fight for you, but at the same time hold your own. And understand that as a black man, nothing ain't free. and to
That's true.
understand, do your history, do your past history, how it is, and understand this system, because the system is not going to be fair to you. And V wants to get married, find somebody that's gonna be a helpmate. That's what I learned that from my mom, my late mom. Find somebody that'll help me, and make sure you have a vision. And if she's not willing to follow that vision, she's not the one for you. And but work on yourself first. That is very important. Make sure that you're strong on practically everything, and never say it's a certain time, certain limit of learning. I always said learning is eternal. Always
Yeah.
keep on evolving, and not all women are bad. But you,
Yeah.
but think of for yourself. Take care of yourself. That's what I would say.
Man, that's powerful. That's powerful. So you have any regrets?
I don't. I wouldn't say I wouldn't have regrets, because what I've been through and everything, even when I was very young, helped me prepare me right now. So I say like, should I see certain things of other people differently? Yes, but I said for me, I weathered the storm a lot, you know, and so, and I got inner scars to tell it. And those inner scars help me motivate myself, help me advocate for myself, and advocate for our people, and to understand I'm not alone.
Right.
So, for me as a black man, like I said this over 2 hours ago. I come from a time that the black man do not have a voice. You know, I tell this story, and this is back in 1980. This is my late youngest brother. He was Down syndrome. He's Down syndrome, and he was going on 1 years old at the time. Back in 1980, was it 79? I believe no. She was My mother was pregnant by my younger brother, because she was one of the few. She was I think that was her last time. So my mother was cleaning houses throughout the years, and she was at this white descent. I'm be nice. The star. I'm gonna say the star. That's all I'm gonna say. And my father, came to pick. He said, "Why don't you go? We're gonna pick mommy up and everything. We go to White Castle." I said, "Okay, no problem and stuff." At that time, my second oldest brother, that's when he just moved with my late great grandmother, and my second oldest sister was spending out her cousin, because my father took me to their house and everything. He came back and pick up me and my late me and me. I mean me. I'm sorry, and he knocks on the door. White man, just white European descent with the star. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to say the name.
Mhm.
And this man, I never say, you gotta go on the side of the house and pick up your wife. No, I'll pick up my wife for the front of the door. She came in the front of the door. She can come outside the door. Now, understand what people were saying. This is not the first time I seen this. And so I questioned it. Why I said, why my mother gotta come through the side of the door? If my father said he want to pick up his wife for the front door, so we come pick right in the front door. And so I got out the car. My father had the keys and everything. Why can't I see my mother coming out the front of the door? So my late father said, "It's all right, son." I said, "Man, I ain't mean to sound disrespectful. Son, I get it. Don't worry about it. I'm handling it." I handle it. Don't worry about it. Get in the car. Get in the car. And my father stand there for 20 minutes. I want to see my wife come out the front door. I'm not going no side of the door. We did not come this way to my wife and his mother come out the side of the door. And my mother did. And and my mother said, it's all right. No, it's not all right. I drop you off at the front of the door this morning. I want to see my wife in front of the door. And my father says, I know this is not the first time I seen it. No, it's not the first time I seen it. And I remember I said the back and everything. And I remember my father said, you're going to go through this, son. I don't have to tell you because you've been through a lot yourself. But stand up being a man, because those peoples right there, they going to take over the world. They're going to start taking over globally. And they're going to disfranchise us as a people. And my late father had a 5th grade reading level, but very articulate. And I'm talking about, like 79, So, speed it up right now. People think things change. No. And because they got global power. These are the same people that the United States had given them money ever since 1948, $2.5 million. Okay? And so, for me, I don't mind to stand against this evil system. And some of our people that looks like they part of this evil system, and they need to get cast out. They cannot be talk about the things that me and you and other people talk about. They need to get cast out. Even the people in this space, y'all need to get black man or black woman, doesn't make a difference. Y'all need to get cast out, because we all about moving globally, and we want to preserve us as a people of this human family. And they should not be part of the eternal movement. No. No. There's no talking no more. No. I'm done talking. You need to get your ass out. You're not part of the righteous. You're part of the unrighteous. I say you on the devil's tail. You need to go. No. I'm not talking no. I'm not. No more. So that's it.
Yeah, I think the thing that surprised me is, I mean, I in a sense I agree with you, but what surprised me when I came to the Black Manosphere is that number of people you talking about is much larger than I thought.
Yes.
See, because in real life, before social media,
Mm-hmm.
I had no dealings with them people. Because I would see, you get a sense of somebody, how they think, how they, and I would just leave them alone. And so we all kind of move in our own little spaces. And then social media and YouTube came along.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard all these people online. And I said, wow, this number of people that I've been avoiding, they just multiplied.
Yes.
So I think it's too big of a problem now for us to cast them out. We gotta fix it, because they're taking over, man.
Right, I understand what you're
They're
saying,
populating faster.
Right, I get what you're saying.
They're
but
virus.
Understand what I'm saying. When you run into them, don't entertain their conversation. No, I'm not entertaining that no more, bro. I'm done. I'm not entertaining that no more, because now of the space, let's go outside the space right now. You even got some black man and black woman willing to work with the enemy to destroy us.
Yep.
Let's talk about that.
But that's why you don't see me around the manosphere all the
I
time
know.
like that, because it's this shit is too toxic, man. I can't. I have to
That's why you
protect.
don't see me.
Right.
I can't entertain. Why you're talking. This is why I have problems with some people in the manosphere, and I'm talking about black man. I don't
Absolutely.
want to talk about black women because black women, one way or the other, y'all gonna deal with destruction, no matter what. And these sweet flower boys, you're gonna deal with destruction. So I'm not even talking about it. But these men in this space, why are you going to work for the enemy and do the deal with the enemy? And these are the same one that perished us throughout centuries. These are the one taking our money and put it in their community and made white and still have white supremacist policies. And let me say this: white supremacy is not just white people no more. Cut it out.
That's right.
It stretch out all nationalities. Even some of our people practice it right now. So
Absolutely.
my thing is this. It is like you said, it's a global thing, but now they in workforce. They in certain government, corporations, companies, you name it. Well, why? And then so it plays, and then people fail to understand. Well, how about you in a relationship, or you married, black man or black woman? I said either or, and you pushing, hey, we should do this and that and everything, but they all cheesing with the enemy. Why are you cheesing with the enemy? Well, such and such like that. Everything all no, everything is not all right. You want this person to destroy me? Well, I'm trying to build for us. And you chatting with the enemy. You got other men. They up to no good. They don't want us. They don't want the black man or the black woman to be together. You chatting with them, but I was supposed to feel that way. They talk about the black man ain't this, this and that and everything. But they got these rights over our backs. And I'm talking about us as a people. Nah, no, I no, like they said, we got these conversations. I can't mess with them, bro. I can't. I can't. Yo, listen, my hand is black. I'm not shaking no hands. I don't care. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna give it back to you, my brother. I'm not shaking no hand. Listen, I don't deal with no enemy, a man or woman. I don't deal with enemies, period. And we gotta stop this too. Not just the men are enemies, the women are enemies too. And my mom told me, my late mother told me, you don't think a woman could hurt you? You better be careful.
Right. Right.
Nah, no.
Yeah,
I'm not shaking.
I think just to protect our own sanity, we gotta limit our exposure, but we do have to engage,
Right,
the
right. We
people
gotta
who
engage.
lost
See,
their
this is
mind and the
right.
women that have lost their mind. We do have to start some kind of process to reverse this.
Yeah, I understand it. See,
But
this is my
but but
thing.
you could, but it can drive you crazy.
Right. See, this is my thing. Right. We still gotta work in this evil system to get what we want to survive.
Right.
Do whatever you can, but it doesn't mean that I have to be a product of this evil system. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
Right. You don't want to be consumed by this
I'm
system.
not consumed of that, so I'm not going
Right.
to be consumed. But I'm going to do whatever I can to get what I need for myself
Right.
or my family, or even help our people. Yeah, I gotta work in it. I gotta work with it in it. There's a difference. But I am not a product of this evil system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not consumed to it. No, I'm not. And I refuse to do it. So if I had to get a little here, a little there, it's fine with me. I'm not consumed with that. No. And we gotta understand that they are white supremacist language out there that people think just old, just new. This is old. It just modernized and stuff like that. And then they want you to drink with them. Oh, they want you to have conversation with them. Oh, they want you to work with them, work late with them. How about you have plans with your significant one? It goes black man or black woman. Oh, I gotta work with them and stuff. And then all of a sudden you got some people. Oh, that man look good. Oh, that woman look good. But what about the black man or the black woman? You know, you. I say they attracted to you now.
I
It
think
plays a psychological part, and it's a mental thing too. So we got to talk about that too.
right.
And they don't want to have these conversations, bro. They don't want to have.
No, I mean white supremacy is real.
It's real. It
Yeah,
is.
I'm never gonna minimize that. But I think the greater thing that's affecting us right now is black self hatred,
Yes, I agree.
because it's not equal here in society across the races. But we have enough freedom and latitude to get where we want to go. We can win from where we are right now, even though it's not equal. But
Mhm.
our biggest obstacle is our self hatred.
Yeah, and it's
We
real
we're
too.
we're our biggest enemy.
We are, and it's this, and it's sad thing about it is deep rooted.
Yeah,
You can you can't even cut a knife through it. It's work, and I'm saying like when you start talking about geography of it, when you talk, I mean the spiritual, the emotional, the social content, and the culture with it all wrapped in one. It's a mess, bro.
yep.
It is a doggone mess, and again, we don't want to talk about it.
Because we're addicted to this dysfunction.
Yes, we see. Yeah, right. We love drama, bro.
Hmm.
Listen, if I can go and say, Brother Ori 666 and Dollar Will, y'all some fuck up boys. Y'all some fuck boys. And you know how many people be in the chat?
Oh yeah, man, this channel be blown up.
Blown up. I probably get monetized within that time. It probably be 40, 50 people in there. My cash up be
Yeah,
easily.
yeah,
Am I lying?
yep. Fuckery sells. That's it. That's it, man. It definitely that. Yeah, we are attracted and addicted to that.
And that's
You
the sick
know.
thing about it. I gotta
Yes.
lower my standard to talk about a brother that I supposed to be side by side with in Ori 666 to so we could push these conversations.
Right.
That's not that's sick to me. When I go get you, that's sick talk.
Right.
Nah, I can't go. I'm not going against a black man that is trying. No, I'm
Right.
not doing it.
Right. Right.
So
Total.
I
Total
cannot
agreement.
entertain these conversations, and I know people gonna be like, "Oh, you don't know what's going on." I know a lot was going on. I just don't want to entertain because I know what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna stop. And then all of a sudden it's gonna be you a bitch ass motherfucker, or you just you know you don't this and that. Nah, I mean like at the same time, bro, it has to be a shift to find solutions. When is going to be the time that we gotta stop hating each other and motivate and take over?
Yeah, I don't even expect that to happen in our lifetime. I'm
No,
just
I don't expect that
yeah,
either. But I'm
yeah.
saying it
It
has to be a conversation.
has to be a conversation, but if we could just move the ball a couple of inches, I mean, my expectations are like real basic. I got my little group in Patreon, that's committed and trying to get this trading thing, and I'm inspired by the growth that they're having, and that's the way I approach life, man. I just focus on what I can do and just rock with the people that rock with me, and just leave it at that. and talk to the people who willing to listen, and that's all I can do. But we definitely got ourselves in a pickle here.
Yeah,
But
we
have you ever traveled outside of America?
A few times in my life, yes. That's when after I was married. That was over. I was with the ex in New York. Yes, I traveled a few times in my life. Yes.
What was what's like some of the main things you learned? How did it impact you?
I said I would not say learn. I said a reminder that our people, um, um, Lori, you want me? Do you want Lori to come on the mic? Because really,
Yeah,
Lori
yeah.
is supposed to be chopper. But if you want Lori to come on here for a few
Yeah, I
minutes, you
already, yeah,
will.
he cool.
Okay. So let me send the link out here. Hold on, let me see. Well, for me, bro, is no, hold on. Let me see. Alright. Check that out, bro. There goes the link right there. But I said for me is a reminder that our people suffer globally, and there's no difference. I would say that um, they out of date of technology, but our people suffering. Man, I remember I went to Bahamas one time. I was with the ex at that time, and they were selling great stuff from Africa. They had handmade.
Hmm.
They was in a shack. One shack was in the ground, and the other shack was in mud.
Right,
That yo, I broke down. When I told I broke down, I broke down.
right. They really like from our perspective in America, they had nothing, and you come like you said, you had your experience in the PJs, and you saw them, and you were like,
It
whoa,
broke more. I'm talking about I was crying. I had $60. It was three shacks. It was three shacks. And the only way they could heat up, they got to tie them on each other. And you know I had $100 some. And the ex he said, "Oh, why you did that? I gotta support my people.
right.
Fuck that. I don't give a fuck about these motherfuckers." And I spent all of it and everything. She said, "You can go sell." No, I said I kept it. Cause that was my thing that
It breaks you down. You see it.
it
You
hurts,
can't.
bro.
It
Bro,
hurts
I'm
bad.
telling you, bro. It was so when I see stuff like that, when throughout the years I visit and stuff, especially like these cruises.
Right,
It's nice and everything, but the way how they disrespect African descent is crazy. I mean, it's
right,
not crazy, and they be most of these men, and sometimes you just want to like put hands on them, like fuck you say,
right.
So and
That's
so
when you have that experience like you had in Bahamas. That's when you know that this is bigger than an American thing.
it really is. It's a global thing, man.
Right, right.
What brother Ori?
What's up, Iwan? Iori, you there? You might have to leave and come back because it's not. We're not
Yes, yeah,
hearing
you
you.
can't have barely hear you. Yeah, go out and come back in.
Now let me ask you this:
Go ahead.
where do you get the name Number One Grinder? What's the origin of that?
It was one that I used to go by. My channel was underrated doctor, but I was go by the underrated one,
Mhm.
and I had the underrated one for a while. I still go. There people still call me that, but I was thinking something, and I always grind.
Gotcha.
I always will grind. Whatever it is, always a grinder. So I say grinder. Then it hit me the number one grinder, and I forgot the brother's name. But I said the number one grinder. He said, "Man, you should use that. That's you. That's hard." Ain't
Right.
nobody in the space don't use no more grinder. That's hard, and that's what it was.
Yeah,
And
that's
I've been
definitely
using number
unique.
one grinder.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. That stands out.
That's me.
That's your life story, huh? Number
That's
one
it.
grind. There you go. So tell me about this jazz thing, man. What who's your top two?
I can't say no top two, bro, because I gotta go by eras and stuff. I would say I could say the late great Duke Ellington. I could say Thelonious Monk. I could say Charlie Parker,
Mm.
Louis Armstrong, Lester Young, John Coltrane, Ella
So you a big
Fitzgerald.
band boy then?
Um,
You
um,
like that big band stuff?
yeah, I do. I've been to
I
the big
got
band. Deanne Washington when she was doing jazz. Ella Fitzgerald.
So how old were you when you got into the music?
I was very, very young.
Were your parents into it?
Yes, they was in. Yeah, in their own way, they was. Yes.
And so that's how you had no choice in the matter. You were raised on it.
Yeah, I always love music. I always love all different genre of music.
So
You
you were
know.
you were imprinted with it. It was just in the house. That's
Yeah,
what
it
they
was in the
played.
house. You know, I listen to Ingleberg Humperdinck. You
Gotcha.
know, I listened to Johnny Mathis back in the '50s, and then all of a sudden, you know, then he started then he started dealing with the Philadelphia Soul back in 1973 and stuff like that. My favorite genre is the sounds of Philadelphia.
Oh yeah,
That's my
yeah,
favorite genre. Y'all people, because I grew up on it, and all due respect of Motown, you know, but that's another story.
yeah. I'm not. I mean, I respect what they did, but
I
that
respect.
wasn't my favorite genre either. Motown.
Nah, it
I
was
got some nice songs that I like back in that period, but yeah, I would rank that Philadelphia sound. Or I would say I like the funk, the '70s funk, that
yes,
music coming out of Ohio, and
yeah.
all of that with
Ohio
there
players
you
and
go,
yeah. There you go.
Confunction and all of them.
yeah,
Oh man,
Confunction.
you talking about all that funk stuff? Oh,
Yeah,
I hear
that's the funky '70s, man.
I
The
hear you. I
funky
hear you.
'70s. Even the Ozzy Brothers was funky. You got
Yeah.
Funkadelic.
That whole region, because you only and Boosie in there somewhere, right? In that region, yeah,
Boosie, and you know, so
I like that.
I do have the underrated music talk. I've been talking music throughout the years on my channel, but
I would love for YouTube to just relax this prohibition against playing the music and just like, I mean, how do those people play music on their channels? I mean, what allows them to be able to do that?
they had to know the law, how to go about it, you know.
I think what it is they have something with the streaming services where they're able to play it. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
I think that's what it
Hmm.
is.
Man, 'cause I would love to be able to be able to do that. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
just love to be able to
yeah,
spring
I
some
want to
music
do
on.
that too. One day I want like to learn the business of it, cause I know, you know, I ain't mean to brush my own horn and everything, but you know, besides that, I know some good music and stuff. But the Sounds of Filter identifies with me because they talk about global love, but also they was not afraid to talk about our people and how our people has to be part of the human family, and they was not just black people,
But
and you know, and that's the beautiful thing about it. So they always had songs that make you think. You know, they
you know what
talks about slavery and how it is prepared for today. You know, so you know,
yeah, I like that. I like the fact that it was human beings playing music together.
Yeah.
yeah,
See,
it was
technology, the synthesizer, when the synthesizer was invented, Not long after that, we got um, rap music.
Yeah.
So the synthesizers gutted the budget that the record companies was had to spend on music,
But
because it's like,
yeah, it's
okay,
true.
you can do the
But you know
whole
who come
band
out
for
with the?
them.
But you know, Quincy Jones. People don't remember. You remember
Oh, and
Ironside?
disco killed it too.
Yeah, Disco killed it. But you know, you remember the TV show Ironside came out in the
Yeah,
'60s.
yeah.
A lot of people don't know Quincy Jones when he did that soundtrack. He was synthesizers. He was the
Wow.
first one to really use synthesizers at that time.
Before Stevie Wonder.
Yes,
Wow, did
look
not
it
know
up.
that. No, I believe you. Wow, I didn't know that though.
Yeah.
Just but Stevie took it to the next level though.
Right.
I hear you.
Stevie took it like, but
Yeah, Stevie
but
Wonder had like a such a creative outflowing with when he got that synthesizer, that he did like three, four, 5 albums, like all in a short span, and he was releasing them over years. But all that
yeah,
music was done in a short window.
and
It
all
was
of them
like
was
for like the
diamond.
next almost next 10 years, just at least 7, 8 years. It was music that he did like in a very short, like maybe a 2 or 3 year window. He just
Yeah,
did
and
all that music.
all of them went diamond too.
Uh-huh.
He said, yeah, and so I'm at the orchestration. I like instrumentals. I like when the guitar had their own sound, the horns had their own sound, the piano
Right,
had their own sound.
Yeah.
I'm into stuff because they want to paint a story.
right. You listen to like Isaac Hayes and
Yes,
and and,
what?
and,
That's
and,
one of my
uh,
favorites.
and Barry White. You like,
Barry White,
man.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they didn't have, these were real musicians that the record company was giving them the money, paying
Yeah,
to pull that off. And when
Don't
the
forget about
synthesizer came,
Pendergrass. Don't forget about
yeah,
Teddy Pendergrass, man.
yeah, because but when the synthesizer came along, the money wasn't there to support that.
no,
So them big groups like Cameo and the Barcades and uh, Cool in the Gang. The gang was gone.
yeah,
They couldn't pay all them people. They had to, like, people had to go. So the budgets got slashed, and that changed the music, and rap and disco and the synthesizers changed the music, and it became about the super producer. It started us on that trend of the super producer, and collaborate, like group collaboration with Minimize. All the groups started breaking up and becoming solo artists.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's never I don't think music has ever sounded as good. I think it suffered as a result, but we just kind of got used to it. We go
But
we go to concerts, or they young people go to concerts now where nobody plays an instrument.
Yeah. I can't.
yeah,
I can't say the same.
mm-hmm,
I can't say.
yeah. Go ahead, brother Lord. Anything you
You
want to
know,
add on?
it's interesting because when I first started doing like the music thing from a Western perspective, it was like hard rock and heavy metal, but there was still, in a weird way, there were jazz aspects to prog rock and progressive metal and all this other kind of stuff that I was hearing, because you still had like a keyboard breakdown, and you still had a guitar breakdown, and you had dueling guitars, or you had a guitar and a keyboard kind of trading and stuff. And then I got into all the jazz stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and when I got into all the jazz stuff, I couldn't listen to music the same way. But now I can't listen to music now because nobody's really doing anything. There's an intricacy when you're learning to play an instrument. You're playing to the click, and you're playing with a band, and you're playing in odd time signatures and all this other kind of stuff. And when people don't do that, and you got like four chord pop rock or whatever is on the radio now. I can't listen to that stuff.
I mean, is it that is it that they're not playing any good music, or is it that we're just disconnected from
I,
wherever it's happening, wherever it is?
I,
I,
I'm a snob. I'm an open snob, right? So when I listen to stuff, it has to fit in my brain a certain way for me to really get into it. Like, all right, the beat's got to be right. I mean, I'm used to jazz, so the backbeat and bass and all this other kind of stuff that's kind of interwoven a certain way. From a musicality perspective, I gotta have something, man. I gotta have some meat when I'm listening to something.
yeah.
Like, give me something, which they're not giving
I,
these days.
I feel the problem is this that Isaac Hayes, Barry Wet, and others we talk
Yeah,
about, they play different type of instruments, but also they know how to produce, they know how to arrange.
correct.
And I think that that is the missing part of creativity. You got different variations of music, and and so and you got back then you write the note of it, and you play it and everything, and even the ones that also musicians. Some of them also was writing their own music, and that's what I saw. I had so much respect for Sounds of Philadelphia, especially MFSB, because majority of those brothers, majority of those men, they also was creating for their own too.
Sure.
And so you got the string. I think they got one of the funkiest strings, man. I'm like, God, how you kick that? I'm like, and the bongos and all that. Even I cannot leave out James Brown, the JBs. I told people in '72, look up here the JBs. You got the like you got Boosie Collins was on there. He was young. I forgot his brother. Now I think his brother no longer here. But they the one the earliest one of the JBs. Just listen to that and how they play. Oh my goodness! And you hear funk, you hear jazz, you hear alternative and all that. And so I love orchestration. I love big bands, but also I like singing too. You know how they carry that note and stuff, and how it blends in and stuff. So that's why back then we have vocal arrangement was very important. Right now you don't see none of it. There's no substance at all. They just put people on just saying and stuff. There's no training. There's no respect. I said this. There is no epic of this music had we listened to and then the ones who paved the way, so
Yeah,
that's the
Yeah,
sad thing about for me.
yeah. I think his music education is down, and that's part. I think that's part of it. I think another part of it is a lot of the knowledgeable musicians are in the church only. They're not. It's like the gospel music has grown to a point where they can make a lot of money just doing gospel music. So that talent, that gospel music used to feed R&B with talent.
correct.
And that I don't think that's happening as much because they can get rich just doing gospel music. They don't have to quote crossover to make money.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
So I think R&B uh suffered has suffered because it can't take advantage of it doesn't have gospel to like be the feeder system for it anymore.
yeah. I mean, in a weird way, you're right about that, but I think the mechanics of music in general have changed. Because when I grew up in the '90s, I mean, I grew up in the '90s, but really understood what I was doing in terms of walking one foot in front of the other, probably late '90s, early 2000s. The dream was to get signed to a record label and still be able to do that. So you kind of had to go commercial a little bit. But the thing is, now music is so open with the channels that we have right now with YouTube and all these other kind of digital digital channels that you really don't have to, like you said, you don't have to really cross over. You can make a nice living just doing what you like. In a weird way, it changes the music industry because you really don't have to be a big artist like, I don't know, back then it was Tyrese or some other person that was trying to go, gold or platinum or whatever it is. You can make a nice living just doing normal stuff on YouTube if you can hit a lick that's big enough and get you 100, 200, 300,000 subscribers. You you're not dying anymore. You know. So it's changed things. It's changed things.
Now I know I already plays the guitar. He's a pro.
I don't know
You
about
put in the years. You put in the time.
not no more, but yeah, I hear you. I
You've
hear you.
invested. You have like many years invested in
Yeah.
education in it, and I never made that commitment to an instrument. Have you played an instrument, grinder?
I play a little bit, but see, my thing was all about hearing a song, how I could make some arrangements, how I could make some changes of it.
Okay.
Always been like that since I was very, very little. Be creative and stuff. I think that's the only thing I wish that I could follow up. Went to a vocational high school and learn about music. Because I really believe if I would learn, I would play like multiple instruments. Because I got to be in charge.
Right.
This is my music. I gotta be in charge. So at the same time, even back then though too, people at that time we don't talk about it, but I do talk about. There's people back then that knew the business too.
Right.
Oh man, and you didn't know that at the time, right? You were just going through the program without really understanding what they were giving you yet.
Right, that's happening right now.
Yeah, gotcha, gotcha.
See,
Wow.
back then they knew the business. That's all. Like when they set up their own, record label. It was. I know that the bigger, they funded them and everything, and they keep it moving. But at the same time, some worked and some didn't work, and but they got to know the business. That's that, and I think that's the sad thing of music today. You got these people that go in. Or I could write, or I could do this. You gotta know the business. Like the legendary, the late great Tom Bell, when they TV1 when they did the when they did the Phonics song, when they talk about the Phonics, and he went to this guy, and he said, "Look, I know what's going on. I know you're cheating me, and everything. Just let me go before I hurt you." Because the late great Tom Bell was getting robbed, and even the phonics and stuff. But back then, you got some of them that some knew the business. You got some that didn't know, and so they didn't know about publishing because it was not. They didn't trust me. They didn't want to get taught to them because they know they can make money, and it took the phonics a long time to really get out that label feel. And so you learn from that, and then, Tom Bell, Laker Tom Bell went on, did stylistics and other stuff like that. But
Yeah.
so
I wanna add something here.
God,
Um, if you have a musical mind and you have an understanding of patterns, that helps a lot more ways than just music. what if you were to rip open a chart or do something else like that, like let's say somebody with a musical background was able to kind of rip open some charts. Sooner or later, once your eyes get used to it, you're gonna see those candle patterns the way that you hear music in your head. You're gonna hear every note. You're gonna know what note comes next. It comes to a point where things become predictive. You can start predicting things in a song, right? Like you know when the break's gonna happen. You can predict it like 2 seconds before it happens. You know where the solo's coming. You know where the bridge is. All that kind of stuff. When you're looking at charts, it's the same thing. All you gotta think about is each and every piece of a chart is a piece of the song. Like first 10 seconds, first 30 seconds, first minute. You know what I mean? Like it's weird because I'm a guy with a musical background. I'm telling you.
Uh,
So you know, for a lot of people, whether it's you or somebody else that's listening, I mean, it all connects. It all connects somewhere. So
yeah. And I think that what y'all talking about, I think that conversation too have to bring back the connection because there's a lot of people. It's just like this, music is like you making beats to it, you just add on. You just gotta make sure you gotta keep on stirring it to this right. But these people is putting negativity in there, and they don't, and they said that is music, and I'm very critical with that. And I know there are
yeah,
some people like you gotta respect the music today. I said that you gotta protect the essence and innocence of it and the seriousness about it. There are people have paved the way, and it's like like I forgot Grover Washington Jr. Passed away of a heart attack in 1999. There are some people that he became an icon, and he played jazz I think almost 30 years before that, and then you got R&B, you even got some that's saying pop and stuff. So, but I do agree. I did not care for disco. Now, do I like
yeah,
some songs of disco? That to me it sound like R&B, yes.
yeah. I'm not a fan of disco either, but you know, it is what it
Me
is.
either.
It done ruined a
DC did
lot of
not
shit.
really go disco. That's why it earned the title Chocolate City, because a
Yeah,
lot of those uh, R&B and soul groups they just played repeatedly in DC, and we fed them.
mm, yeah. You know, it's interesting because I think a lot of things changed, and to be perfectly honest with you, from a performance perspective, uh, the East Coast, like DC, like you're saying, Dollar Will, and Europe saved a lot of people's bacon in terms of making a living. When America went transient in terms of okay, like this is a new fad, this is a disco fad, this is the grunge fad, like whatever the next fad was that really kind of changed the way people played instruments. The thing that saved a lot of people were the jazz clubs and the European scene because those people could run to Europe and make their money because they knew that things were changing in the States. So
Mm. So yeah,
it's still that way. It's still
yeah.
that way. You know, the big the big festivals are mostly in Europe now. Like, you know, the jazz festivals. There are some here, but you know, most of that artistic stuff in terms of people playing music is something that happens in Europe or East Coast jazz clubs or jam clubs or something like that. That's but that's because in the East Coast they have that culture, so it's still around. Thank
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and also too, I what I see too, the engineering is not what it used to be.
you. Now it's not.
Mm. No, there's not real much of an excuse for it.
Yeah.
Tell you. Well, this I know this been great and everything, but this how I close it out. Dollar Will, ask for your last remarks. Then brother Ori, ask your last remarks. I'm gonna do my last remarks, and we gonna close it out as a family and tell y'all about your channels.
Um, let's get we got to get it together, fam. We gotta learn from the past, and we gotta see our own light for the future, and we can't pattern ourselves after what another culture does. We gotta fix our problems internally and globally, and we have to look for opportunities beyond America. Gotta open our mind and blaze a whole nother trail. And I think that trail is making relationships in other countries. And doing what we can while we're here. So it's not a either or. But we don't need to treat America like a prison because our ancestors wanted to be free. And freedom wasn't just removal of the chains. They wanted to get out of here. Okay. So uh, if your freedom doesn't include reconnecting with Africa, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm. All right, brother Laura, last remarks, please.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I don't have no channel or nothing like that. I just pop by to support different people. I mean, mostly Dollar Will, obviously. And I'm not going to say anything about me. I'm just going to say, look, if you want to learn a skill that's going to change your financial life, go go sub to Dollar Will, man. Because I can't even tell you how things have changed for me since I met Dollar Will. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Dollar Will is the Michael Jordan of this space. He don't talk about it, but he really do. He's the type of person who just sit down with you and talk to you for 3 hours and really care about this stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's a throwback. So don't forget about Dollar Will. Look him up, find him. He's always here to help. I mean, if you want to learn what's going on over there, I mean, there's the Patreon. But to be perfectly honest with you, bro, it's a new time. Like the world's open. We know what the world looks like now. The world is there for you to enjoy. People love you everywhere if you want it, right? I mean, you got Africa, you got other places. Obviously, I'm partial to Africa and that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, there's black people everywhere. We were talking about what did this space really give, and what did this space really talk about that really isn't talked about. We got Afro Colombians, Afro Latinos, all that kind of stuff. That stuff back when I was learning about it, what, 15 years ago, most people didn't know about that.
Right.
You can go on a YouTube video right now. You can get a whole education on any kind of thing that you want from a diaspora perspective. That's the thing that this space really brought in terms of the masses, right? So I think that's positive, and I'm just positive about where the world is going and where we can go with that. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I thank you for those words already. I just want to mention also my YouTube channel is really not that active because people are not really into it. If you really want to learn this, you got to come on the Patreon. It's real.
100%.
It ain't but $10 a month,
Oh,
and
well,
so
well,
and
I got to give up. I got to give up my coins. Then I got.
so it's like, and we trade over there. So I'm not.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I put up charts and stuff, and we have a
Okay.
long like Iori and I are gonna be kicking it later today because every
Yeah.
Saturday we go through charts and stuff,
Okay.
and that session lasts about 3 hours. Okay, and during the week, because we are trading for real, we're real traders. Okay,
Yeah.
and the life of a real trader is your sleep is irregular and all that kind of stuff. So because you got to be ready to press the button when the chart setup is there. So I don't have time, like a whole lot of time, just be putting up like useless stuff on the Patreon.
Got you.
When I come through and put something up, it's about like what's going on a chart, and I'll drop videos from like other good people that you need to watch. There's lots of good free information out there, and I'm always putting up the free information that people can learn. So it's not that my channel so much is it's not like a class. It's I mean, I'll give you the information, but you have to be the type of person that will read it and be self motivated. Because it's not like a class where you go through chapter 1 and chapter 2. It's not structured like that.
Yeah.
Because those there are programs out there like that, but you're going to pay several $1,000s for that. The work it takes to create that, I understand why they charge the money like that because it's a
Right.
lot. So, but now there are people on my channel. There's people over there you're gonna recognize, like you see Iori and uh, on crypto with Linnell. You see him; he's over there. Um, Maddie goes. So you'll see some names that you remember, I mean that you know, from the manosphere, and but they're doing their own thing. Some people are trading crypto, some people are trading penny stocks. So a number of us are into the futures, but how to read a chart will allow you to trade any of it. And so, as the group meeting that we have on Saturdays right now, and if people need me for individual sessions, they just have to schedule it, and it's no upcharge. There's no, hey, you pay the $10 and then you get in there, then I'm asking for all of this. No, it's been the same rate. I think I've been doing this since like 2018, and it's
Man,
been
I
ten
wish I was
dollars a
there
month
back then.
since 2018.
Got you.
So
I caught you
it can
late,
be.
Dolly. Though.
You say
I
what?
caught you. I said I caught you late.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
caught you a little late.
So it can be group sessions. It can be individual sessions. However you want it. If you serious, I'll make the time. You know.
Got you. Well, I could say my channel is a little bit of everything. If you want to find out more, go through my channel. See the growth. My blood, sweat, and tears on this channel. I did have another channel, my secondary channel, because once upon a time this channel was not working right. So I have my secondary channel, the number one grind and real talk. But I'll talk about that in the future. But this channel is nothing but growth. And I am the best kept secret on you on social media. Check out, I put in the work. Just don't check out like 1 or 2 years. Go through it. I got everything on there, and I stand on it. So all I can say that you want to support it, support it. If you don't, you don't. I'm still gonna grind. I'm still gonna do what I have to do, and hopefully your brothers could come a little more often. Just check me out. That's all you can do. That's all I can tell you. Just check me out.
Will
And
do, brother.
And I'll definitely go check y'all. Make sure to push y'all and we go do now. I know Laurie. You say lots. I could do more. The little more the underrated music talk, and then I can't play. I don't know how to play the song yet, but we can go through it and have a conversation.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I'm wondering how we can do that too, like with the music. Like, I mean, I guess people can drop a link and then people can like listen on their own. I don't know. We got to figure out a way to do it.
I
You
think
know.
I think you have to actually buy like a license for a certain catalog or something. I think that's how they do it. But I can figure it out.
Oh,
I can figure it out. I can figure it out.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let me know so the underrated music talk can go take the next level. Like I said, check out. I do men's talks too. Also, the underrated men's talk. Also, I do the underrated men's breakfast fellowship live. Just us men be on the panel talk and everything. Now, also, I got other stuff. Trying to have women come on there, find that they respect it and find solutions. We have a little good time here and there. Like I said, I do a little bit of everything. I'm a jack of all trades. You know what I'm saying? Just check my channel. That's all I need to do. Just check on my channel thoroughly. You see, you see the commitment there. So and all the stuff that I talk about, I've been through it. So
I
and
hear.
I'm
Well,
just go ahead. Go
you were
ahead.
you were telling me earlier, like when the stream started, where I've been, right? I told you I've been in the lab, so you know,
Yeah,
I've been in the lab with Dollar Will getting my shit together. So that's where I've been. So
got you.
I hear it. All right, bro.
Thank
Much
y'all.
love to you guys, man.
Yeah.
All
Anything
right,
you want to
brother.
add on?
That's it. I'm done.
Okay, yeah, man. Cause I remember you used to come see me, but I understand. But you're welcome, and we definitely need voices like y'all to push this because in this space they said they diverse, but they not really diverse.
No, they not.
Nah, nah.
They not diverse. When we talk about, last night into the morning, this diverse. This is what we need, especially us as black men. It doesn't make a difference where you from, but we gotta have a diverse dialogue. That's the only way we can solve certain things, and we could without the BS. That's what's going on, and at the same time, there's no beef. I'm gonna talk about people outside now. There's no beef. We respect each other, and no matter what, we gonna in the future we gonna keep on building, and that's what it's all about. So people outside look here. This is the standard that I stand for, and I stand very firmly and serious about it. These are brothers that willing to build. So I'm just saying, brothers. I mean, women too, but especially men. Check your ego at the door and learn to listen to other brothers because you never know what they could bring to the table. Because when you alienate another brother, you don't know what you're missing. Remember that.
Yeah,
So, on behalf of my channel, the underrated darkness, yours truly, the number one grinder, one of the best kept secrets on social media. This is the last of the chop up with brother Dollar Will, and also add on the other brother Lori Ari 666, and just understand we still got work to do.
100%.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, this one is goes. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Be well. Peace to y'all and your families.
Appreciate it, brother.